this will be. 5:52 left in the fourth. 38-3.
Why was everyone able to be so productive tonight?
2nd and 9 now. This one's picked. Intercepted by the Bucs. It's Murphy bunting down the sideline. He is going to be marked. From the 3, Brady throws, pass caught, Evans touchdown. Tampa Bay on top as he works against Marshawn Lattimore.
Bodies him up. I mean, you're talking about Mike Evans, the size that he has at 6'5". He's able to get inside, use his body like you would in basketball. Brady just tries to stick it on him and let him shield Lattimore off of him. Eat him! Eat him! Eat him!
3rd down and 2. Quick throw, Cook makes the catch, 1st down, ball's out, and into the arms of Devin White. It's a takeaway by this defense. Good protection again, pass caught, touchdown, Fournette. Second down and 8. Brady off the bench with a big game today. 3rd down and 7. Brady with play action. Makes it 3rd and 11 now. A rare Scotty Miller sighting. And that's who Brady.
The facility. What are you guys being fed up there to be able to shut down the GOAT Tom Brady like that twice?
Well, you say GOAT, like one of the GOATs. He's probably number 2 on the list behind, the quarterback who has 80,000 yards, 80,000 passing yards. But I mean, there's probably another quarterback like there.
Makes it 3rd and 11 now. The throw is what a catch! A rare Scotty Miller sighting. And that's who Brady goes to, and he's got him. Michael Thomas, you see the total yards in the game, 2nd and 8. Breeze throws, and he's picked by Devin White. Another turnover, and White picks his way down the sideline. Brady's going to take it. Touchdown.
Get somebody down the middle or up the sideline.
Breeze able to step into this one. This one's up for grabs and picked.
Evolution. Sports Talk Television live here nightly. All Bucs report. It's the Sports Lab. I'm your host, Jimmy Wood, giving you something to think about on tonight's show. Bring your passion, bring your excitement, just don't bring any nonsense. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another edition of the evolution of Sports Talk Television here live nightly on Bucs Report. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. I know you love that intro. Isn't that savage? You got to love it here. Tonight's show, we will have former Buccaneer great Mr. Ricky Reynolds on, and we're supposed to have also former Buccaneer corner Mr. Corey Ivy. So we'll have a Buccaneer great and Ricky Reynolds, a former Buccaneer and Corey Ivy. We'll have Harry the Greek, my professional handicapper, about 10 o'clock. And then, of course, your phone call, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Of course, this is brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts. For all your auto parts needs, it's Advanced Auto Parts. Tell them Bucs Report. And, of course, Peter Blake sent you. And how do we start off the Sports Web? Here's how you do it. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get former Buccaneer great on Mr. Ricky Reynolds on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Well, let's hold off on the calls for right now, but we will put you on hold. I know who this is, Sean the Sports Dom. We got Ricky Reynolds on here, so stand by. And what's going on, Ricky? How does it feel to talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to the NFC Championship game at Lambeau Field versus the Green Bay Packers?
Man, it is an incredible feeling. You know, I mean, a long time coming. I mean, these fans around here in this area have been waiting for this for many years, and I'm so excited for them, for the organization, you know, for fighting and getting to this point. And man, it's very exciting. And the only thing we're missing is, you know, we're not in the stadium to be able to watch these things. You know, it's terrible, but it's a great feeling for Tampa, and I'm sure everybody in the city is very excited about it.
Yeah, and we always start off with talking about defense and offense with Tom Brady, and of course, 199 yards, 2 touchdowns. But let's talk about this defense. 4 turnovers total, including a caused fumble by Antoine Winfield, big in the game. Talk about that first. 20-13. Looks like the Saints are driving, but the rookie makes a huge play that basically turns the momentum all around in the Bucs' favor.
Yeah, I mean, it's heads up play by the young fella, and that's why he ended up starting, right when the season began, because he showed his maturity throughout the course of training camp, that he could go out there and pick up the system, and is able to keep his composure during the course of games and stay focused enough to be able to focus in on the football and to go for it at that moment in the game. Instead of just, trying to make the tackle, he was wise enough to go ahead and to try to make a play on the ball, was able to get it out. And man, that was a huge play in the football game and a difference maker for sure.
Absolutely. I tell you what, this is a defensive guy. He definitely loves your work in the NFL. Let me go out to my former co-host from a radio station in a galaxy far, far away, Mr. Sean the Sports Don. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. How you doing tonight, buddy?
What's going on with you, brother?
We got Ricky Reynolds on. What do you think's going on? You got the NFC Championship on Sunday.
Listen, you know what? I'm humbled because again, I'm on the air with the great Ricky Reynolds that's on there. So I definitely got some questions for Mr. Ricky Reynolds, man. Because here's the thing, man. Obviously we going up against the great Aaron Rodgers this week. And what we saw last week, obviously, I'm happy with the defensive philosophy we had, because we know Drew Brees can't go down the field. So we just jammed those receivers and we went man to man. Obviously, we up against a different challenge this week because we got Aaron Rodgers, who's mobile, and oh, by the way, he's very accurate and those wide receivers, so we know he can go deep. As it relates to how we played the Saints, are we going to have to play? Because I think we're going to have to play a little different when we play against Aaron Rodgers. We can't blitz as much because if you guess wrong, obviously it's to the house. So how would you play this team with Aaron Rodgers, with the press man coverage, press man cornerbacks that we have? How would you play that? How much would you mix it up, or would you just come at them like the Bucs did with Drew Brees?
Good question.
Well, you definitely have to mix things up, and you have to play him differently because, like you said, he can throw the ball down the field, and that's what happens in the man-to-man. Is you either get the biscuit or you get beat, by the biscuit, So you got to be careful in the way that you do things. You're gonna have to mix up some zone. You're gonna have to probably do some zone blitzing as well to where you're not putting the corners on an island. You can make it look like a blitz and actually have the linebackers come, different guys come, and maybe have some of the linemen drop back into coverage. But you have to mix those things up to keep him guessing, to make him have to think about what he's doing on the run. And you have to go ahead and blitz him at times, because you got to continue to put pressure on him. You have to get him off his spot, make him have to throw the ball quickly and things of that nature. And you have to play a chess match. And I think Ty Bowles did an excellent job last week. He knew what he had to do to get, Drew Brees off the spot. And I think he'll put together a good game plan this week. And like you said, we'll have to mix it up quite a bit in order to, fool, Mr. Aaron Rodgers, because he's a player, and you don't want to give him time to just sit in the pocket because he'll just pick you apart.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys that, look, he had a bad game versus the Bucs in the first matchup, and a lot of people saying, well, it's a different team. This Bucs team is different. This defense looks like they're playing with a lot more confidence, especially Sean Murphy Bunting. Talk about that play in the Saints game, and talk about him overall in this back end and what they got to do to prepare versus a Devontae Adams and the rest of the wide receiving core of the Packers.
Well, I mean, first of all, they just this last game against the Saints really, I'm sure, boosted their confidence up a tremendous amount. It just showed them that they can play on this high level on that type of stage in a big game and come away and very successful. So they know that they can go out and they can challenge anybody out there. And so these guys now just have to go out and believe in themselves and play their game. They all have to be on the same page. They have to know the game plan forwards and backwards so that they don't make any mistakes. They don't blow any coverages and things of that nature. And they just have to play smart and play their game and be aggressive. You have to play aggressive. You can't be passive. It's no time for that. This is it. Super Bowl on the line. So you have to go out there, play aggressively, challenge those receivers, get after them, and make plays. And that's what they did this week. Is this past week they made a lot of plays on the football, and they have to continue to do that if they want to win this game.
Hey, Rick, let me ask you this, because one thing I noticed about the Bucs from just the front four perspective, and I think I read an article today wherein in the last 3 or 4 games we probably only got 1 sack from the front four, and I'm talking Sue, JPP, obviously Shaq Barrett, and we haven't been able to get home there with this team that we're playing against. If we're not able to get pressure with the front four, and we find ourselves only way we can get pressure is through blitzing, how detrimental do you think that would be to this defense? And if that's the case, what would you do to counteract the fact that we can't get pressure with front four when we need to?
Well, yeah, that definitely would be a problem if they can't get pressure consistently on Aaron Rodgers, because he'll, like you said, he'll sit back and be able to be comfortable in the pocket and be able to pick you apart. And so in order to do that, like I said, you're going to have to do different things to where you may have to zone blitz, where you're bringing 4 guys, but you're bringing different type of guys. You're bringing a linebacker, you're bringing a Devin White, and dropping maybe Sue back into that hook zone, things of that nature, to try to add a little bit more speed, coming in there on the pass rush. And guys like him can really get after it. Levante David, those guys can rush the passer. So you're going to have to mix it up that sort of way in order to try to get some pressure on it. And it does put a lot of pressure on the secondary when you can't get pressure, on the quarterback, because like you said, he's able to sit back, put the ball where he wants it, and it makes him vulnerable for big plays, when you are blitzing. And if you still can't get there, And the thing about our front, defensive front, all your pass rushing pressure is coming from the ends. Our interior defensive tackles are mostly run stoppers. Those guys aren't, great dynamic pass rushers in the middle, hopefully we'll have Vita Vea coming back. And if he does, I don't know what kind of condition he'll be in, but he's probably the only one guy that can really push and make a difference in the middle other than, Sue, who, is a little inconsistent at times, but we need that push in the middle and put some pressure that way to try to get him to go out towards the sidelines to, help out with, get our defensive ends, outside linebackers to help out on some of the pass rush. Because like I said, if I'm the offense, I'm focusing in on my pass rush on blocking those outside linebackers on the pass rush, because that's who's really making the, bringing the heat, in our pass rushing. The interior defensive tackles just don't have it there.
Ricky, even if Vita Vea doesn't, play that many snaps, he plays a couple of series. What kind of impact do you think he will make on that defensive line? And if he does return and he is somewhat, let's just say 75 to 80%, what kind of impact does that have on those outside pass rushers, namely a JPP and a Shaq Barrett?
Well, he can have a major impact because the guy is very strong. He really pushes the pocket. 350 pounds or whatever he weighs. He really, can take that center or guard and push him into the lap of Aaron Rodgers, and that he has to move, and so you have to put him in situations to where he's only playing a certain amount of plays and has enough energy to be able to make that cause and effect, and you definitely have to play him situationally. Maybe you spot play him on passing situations and things of that nature, but the guy can make a big difference, especially in the passing game.
All right, Sean, anything else?
I got a couple questions. But last time I called you, I think it might have been after or right before we played the Chiefs, and I was worried about our secondary. And obviously, you played in the secondary. So since the Chiefs game, obviously we got torched in that game. But I got a question. Who are the guys in the secondary since that game? Last time I spoke with you, have you seen make big progress, and who's the guy right now that you may target? Who you think maybe is playing the best in our secondary? Guys that we should, be looking at, and you're hoping that's going to have a big game, because we're playing Devontae Adams, or again, Aaron Rodgers is a surgeon. So who do you think is the best, and who you think has to step up in this game for us to have a good chance against this potent offense?
Oh boy, that's a good question. Davis has been the probably the most solid player back there, most consistent throughout the year. He stepped up big time, last week and was able to shut down Thomas pretty much. He didn't catch any passes, so he was big in that area. And for him to play on top of Adams Devontae Adams during the course of the game will be huge if he can step up and really make a difference in that part of the game, because he's a big part of Green Bay's passing offense. So I would say him as far as our defensive passing area. And Murphy Bunting is one that probably has been more the weak link, I would say, lately. He had a big game this past week against the Saints, but he's probably been picked on a little bit more than anybody else consistently. But he stepped up. I think probably a big confidence booster for him this past week. I think sometimes when he's playing off, it's probably a detriment to him, because he tends to give a little bit too much space in coverage, where the receiver is able to take advantage of him underneath wise on some of the shorter patterns. And he'll have to tighten that thing up to make a big difference in this game.
Sean kind of mentioned in his first of his comments, and we'll get him out of here, but do you play different versus the Packers? Do you continue? You said to play aggressive. Can you play man-to-man versus a Devontae Adams and Alan Lazard? the tight end, Tannen, can you play aggressive against those guys and get away with it like he did against the Saints? Because a lot of people are looking at it, Ricky, where Drew Brees doesn't necessarily throw the ball down the field, but Aaron Rodgers does. So can you still play that aggressive in that aggressive manner like he did against the Saints?
Yeah, when I say, play aggressively, it means just to, be tight, on the receivers. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to be up bumping and running. You have to, be all, over on top of the receiver with hands and all that sort of stuff. But you have to be totally focused. You have to be intense and just on the receivers everywhere they go. And yes, you can do that, and you have to do it situationally. You have to know the situations especially on third downs. Usually on third downs, when it's 3rd down and 5, 3rd down and 7, things like that, the receiver's going to run to the sticks. They're trying to get to the 1st down. That's usually where they want to throw the ball. So that's when you really have to bear down and play aggressively and try to make those plays during those situations. 1st and 10, 2nd and short, teams are taking shots down the field. You have to know the situation. You have to know what teams like to do in certain situations. Now you might want to loosen up because hey, this is where they like to take their shot down the field. And now you're ready for when Devontae Adams, runs out and up, or, slant and go or something like that. And now you can stay on top of him as he runs down the field. You have to be smart. You have to know the situations. You have to know what they like to do down the field wise in order to make plays. So these guys need to study, and they need to be ready to go.
All right, Sean.
I got one last question.
Okay.
Ricky, you played in 3-4, 4-3 in your career. I think I know a lot when you played with the Bucs. I think you would a lot in 3-4. I think under Ray Perkins or whatever the case may be. My question for you is, playing against a team like this and have all these weapons, the fact that the Bucs play 3-4, what would be your game plan for this team on Sunday?
What would be my game plan? Well, like I said before, you definitely have to mix things up. You can't, go in the game and just like, I'm just going to blitz them, especially, Aaron Rodgers, because, he's going to hurt you. He's very smart. He's been in the league for a long time. He's going to put his offense into the right situations to take advantage of those sort of things. So, these guys really have to mix things up. And as far as blitzing, as far as playing zones, as far as zone blitzing and things of that nature, give him a lot of different looks in order to kind of keep him guessing, keep him, a little confused of what he likes to do. And then they also have to be smart and, not put their secondary in difficult situations where, they're out there on that island and have that opportunity of getting beat. So you will have to play some zone in order to help these guys out, whereas they can, play a little soft and be able to defend, the deep balls a little more easily. So, there's not one specific thing, I would say that you have to do, but you really have to mix it up. You really have to mix things up and keep those guys guessing.
All right, Sean, the Sports Don. Thanks a lot for the call. Definitely use that second call later on. All right, boss?
I think I will tonight, brother. Y'all have a good one, man. Hey, Ricky Reynolds, man, keep doing what you're doing, bro. God bless.
All right. Thanks, Sean.
All right, there you go. Let me go ahead and fire those cannons for Sean right there. I tell you what, let's go back out. Let's go to the webheads here, read these comments. Go Bucs all day long. FKMG Killer, I love it. Belly Pearl Bird, I don't know what it is. Bahaha, Bug Squad podcast. Let's see here. Adam says Winston better sharpen up. Stutton says Devin White best linebacker in the playoffs besides Levante David. Agree with that. The way he played on Sunday night, 11 tackles, had a fumble recovery, had an interception. Just all over the place. Like I talked about, a man possessed. Is he the best linebacker in this playoffs besides Levante David?
Well, he's just getting started, but yes, he definitely could be the best linebacker out there. He's a guy that just makes big plays. If whether it's rushing, the passer, getting sacks, causing fumbles, intercepting the ball, he's a big play guy. Makes big hits, and gets your team amped up by making those big plays. So yes, I would definitely say by far he's a big time linebacker, and so happy to have him back.
All right, let me go back out to the web heads here. Again, thanks for tuning in, BSP. I'm not sure if he got the job. Who knows if Winston's going to get the job or not. Super Bowl. Sitton says, what's up, Peter? What's going on? Brandon says, what's up, Peter? We got Vita back. There is no certainty, but he did practice today, so we'll see if it works out, if he plays. I'm going to ask you about cold weather really quick. Cold weather. Everybody keeps on talking about it. This team is from the South. They can't play in cold weather. You've got Tom Brady, who's played in it before, Gronkowski. What's the mental aspect of playing in cold weather, and what is the physical aspect? What are the differences?
Let me tell you, it's nothing to play around with. that cold weather is no joke. It could be a huge advantage for the home team and a detriment to the visiting team if you let it. I know, playing in Tampa back in the day, especially when I was young, I would go up to Chicago, Green Bay, different places because we played in that division. And man, and not having your mind ready, you out there freezing and having the proper gear as far as cleats and all that sort of stuff. You have to be very smart about it. So number one is these guys all have to prepare mentally before they go down there that it's going to be cold, it's going to be freezing, and that sort of thing. All right. So I know that I got to prepare for the field. What type of cleats do I need to wear, all that sort of stuff. And so I used to do that mentally to kind of prepare myself for the game. And then when I get there, I usually go out and say, hey, it's not as cold as I thought it was going to be, Mm-hmm. And so, by preparing your mind that it's going to be freezing cold, and they did have a chance to go up and play up in Washington, up in the D.C. area against Washington there, and, get a chance to play in some cold weather. So it's not like they hadn't done it not long ago. So mentally, they should be prepared for some cold weather. And once you put that in your head that, it's going to be cold, it's going to be like this and that, then you can kind of pretty much handle it, And like I said, the big advantage is, when I played with the New England is when it's cold, the ball's hard, it's slick, the weather, everything is a little different. And so them guys, they get a chance to practice in that stuff, the whole time. They get a chance to practice with the hard ball, practice with a slick ball, and things of that nature. So they're at a big advantage that way. Whereas Tampa, they won't get a chance to get the feel of it until they get there, and they'll have to go out and try to prepare. Hopefully, they'll go out early and catch a few balls, Saturday before the game, and get a chance to catch some, some of those hard, slick balls during that time to kind of prepare themselves of what it's going to be like. But it's different. it hurts a little bit. Those hits hurt a little bit more and things of that nature. But once you get going and you get your mind right, it's football. You go out and play some football.
And we're on with former Buccaneer great Mr. Ricky Reynolds here on the Advanced Auto Parts Sports Web. Again, if you have a question for him, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Coldest game you ever played in your NFL career?
It was, I don't remember the year, but we played, I was here in Tampa, and we played the New England Patriots. And I want to say it had to have been about 8 degrees or something like that. And we went up there, and they were on AstroTurf, and the game went into overtime, which, oh my goodness, low scoring game. And with the wind chill, because it was a little windy, it was close to 20 below. It was cold out there, very cold. I think, like I said, the game went into overtime there. I did get an interception that game. It was like catching a rock. The ball was. It was crazy, and it was very cold. That's all I remember. And we were excited once the game was over. got off that field. And I think it might have even been the last game of the year that year.
Nice. All right, let me go out to Todd. Todd, welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with former Buccaneer great Mr. Ricky Reynolds. You got a question or a comment?
Yeah, Peter, how you doing tonight? Ricky, how you doing?
Doing great, buddy. How you doing?
Good. Doing good.
Doing good. I am so pumped and so excited. Ricky, I got a question for you, and it pertains to Aaron Rodgers. We know how good he is and how he can throw that ball, but not too many people are talking about he is mobile, and he can run with the ball if there's nobody open, and if he sees daylight, he can run with that ball. Do you believe that we maybe need to put a spy on Mr. Rodgers?
Good question.
Yeah, that's a good question. Aaron is very mobile. He can take off and run and make a play if he needs to. But I would say no, we don't need to put a spy on him because we need as many people in coverage as possible. And the thing is that Aaron is not looking to run the ball at all. Like some quarterbacks, if some quarterbacks will take off relatively quickly if things aren't happening. Aaron runs to throw the ball, so he's always looking to throw. His last option will be to run the football. So no, we don't need to put a spy on him. The pass rushers just need to stay in their lane. They need to, the ends need to keep containment. And if they do that, we should be okay.
Okay. And, last night I was talking, Peter, I was talking to
Rick Hughes.
Rick Hughes last night.
Yeah.
And they him and the other guy, the professor,
right, Johnny Dean, yes.
And I brought up the cold weather to them,
right,
and they didn't seem like it was a big deal. And Rick brought up the fact that, well, when a North team comes here to Tampa when it's 90 degrees, do you think the heat gets to them? I think it does in certain situations. If you get to the you get to the third and fourth quarter, and that defense has been out there for a while, they're going to be gassed.
Sure. No, I definitely think there's a home field advantage, and that's the reason why you get that number one seed in the first place, because you have this cold weather game. So if you have to play a Southern team or somebody that's used to the heat, that's an advantage. And then on top of it, it's snowing. From that aspect of snow, I don't know if you ever played in snow before, Ricky, but does that hinder the passing game, and does that favor the running game? And consequently, does that kind of favor the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? You look at the run that they had against the New Orleans Saints, 35 carries, 127 yards. They're playing good defense. They're running the ball. So basically, they're catering themselves to winter football, right? Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what having a running game is all about, is for this situations when you're deep into the playoffs, you're having to go up north to play in, conditions that you don't know what's going to be like. Sometimes the fields get sloppy, it could snow and the snow melts and things of that nature, or it could be frozen. The ball gets slick, when it gets wet. So it could be tough for the receivers or the quarterback in as far as throwing it. So you have to prepare yourself to be able to run the ball in these types of situations to, if you're not able to throw the ball down the field and do the normal things that you can do in good conditions. Anything else, Todd?
If we have Jones and Fournette both running well, the tandem, they both played really well against the Saints. If they're both playing well, then we can play ball control and keep that other number 12 on the sideline there. What do you think? I mean, that's the plan, right? That's your game plan. You have to keep Aaron Rodgers and that potent offense on the sideline. And then furthermore, Ricky, let me ask you this to add on to a good question, Todd. That defense of the Saints is top in the NFL. Do you think the Packers somewhat are like the Saints, like the Washington football team, or is that kind of taking a step back with their defense? No, I mean, they're right up there. They're playing very well now. I mean, their secondary, the defensive front, they get after you. These guys really get after you, and this is what the playoff is all about.
Usually, I know everybody hypes up, about offense, but I mean, you usually have a lot of great defenses when it comes playoff time, and this is another one. These guys can play defensively. They're going to get after us, and we're going to have to be able to run football. Like we said, you have to control the clock, be able to control the ball game, keep their defense on the field, wear them out, then put them in a situation where you can play action pass and go downfield and keep them off balance. The running game is huge, and so we got to be able to do that against this defense because they're good. They're a good defense.
All right, Todd, anything else, buddy?
Just a quick question on Antonio Brown. Is he going to be healthy and ready to go Sunday?
That's a great question. I'm not sure yet. They checked out the MRI. No structural damage to the knee, so he may play. I'm kind of thinking it may be a game time situation, and we'll see how it works out. But right now, good news that it's not a big time knee injury, which, a lot of Bucs fans were thinking it could have been. So good news there. We'll see if he plays. And if he doesn't play, then you'll have Scotty Miller and Tyler Johnson. Good stuff, Todd. Thanks a lot for calling the Evolution. Definitely use that second call. All right, my friend?
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. God bless y'all.
All right, there you go. Fire those cannons right there. Ask you a couple more questions, and then we'll get you out of here. We're on with former Buccaneer great Mr. Ricky Reynolds here on the Sports Web, brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts. That wide receiving core really didn't go off. Lattimore, once again, shut down Mike Evans. Evans had a 3-yard touchdown, but besides that, really didn't do anything. Chris Godwin had a touchdown drop, didn't do much. Antonio Brown was hurt. It was Miller and Johnson. Could you see the wide receivers in this game going off more than they did against the Saints because maybe that back end of the Packers is not that good?
Yeah, I can definitely see our receivers probably doing a little bit more damage, and mainly because, this secondary doesn't know these guys as well as like the Saints who play them on a regular basis and know how to play them, And so I can see us probably, taking advantage a little bit and playing against this team pretty well. Cameron Brate is another one that actually played very well during this past game against the Saints. But we have a wealth of receivers, wealth of talent. So any one of these guys can have a big game. And I do see Mike Evans and those guys stepping up and playing well this week.
All right, let me go back out to the webheads here. Christopher Cole says, I really hope the Saints players and fans see that intro. Me too. Timmy says, let's go Bucs. Sitton says, love it, go Bucs. Eric Scott says, Ricky, can I buy your old Zubez off of you? I mean, if you want to sign them too, I wouldn't mind. My life would be complete. Eric Scott has that question.
That is fun.
This is what we got to say about that. Okay. If the defense plays like this, there will be. If the defense plays like this, it's over. Super Bowl all day long. UCAN says Saints Nation. We still got Saints fans checking in here. I think the Bucs just match up well with the Packers, like the Saints are to us. Do you agree with that? Do the Bucs match up offensively and defensively better than they did versus the Saints?
I would say probably so.
Okay.
I would think so. I think I feel a lot more comfortable with them, competing against the Packers than I do the Saints. I think that that Saints has quite a squad, So I like the matchup.
I like the matchup too, and I tell you why I like the matchup. The biggest advantage in this game is what? Is it TB12?
Oh yeah. TB12 is something else, and especially in this situation, this is where he shines, and this is where he takes your team to another level, and that's why they signed him. And that's what's going to happen this week is that TB12 is going to show out, and he's going to show why he came to Tampa.
And also Rob Gronkowski, because both of those players can play in the cold weather conditions. By the way, what was the anniversary yesterday? If you're a Bucs fan, and I know, Ricky, you're a former Buccaneer great. What was the anniversary yesterday? What happened on that day yesterday that was so significant in Buccaneer history? Go.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Yesterday, was that the anniversary of the Super Bowl?
That was the anniversary of the NFC Championship game.
NFC Championship.
Rondé Barber going
Eagles and the Eagles. Yeah,
right.
there you go.
Right. So to me, the biggest key in this game is what?
The biggest key in this game is probably I would say just like last week is the turnover differential. That's huge in a football game, especially in the playoffs. And I think offensively we have to take care of the ball. Defensively, you have to take it away. And the team that wins the turnover battle, I think, will win this football game.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, no turnovers by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 3 of those, 21 points off of turnovers. So here we go. It's prediction time. Bucs versus the Packers, NFC Championship. Who wins and why?
You know what? This is it's always tough, when you get up to this level and you're playing on the road for the third consecutive game, and this team has been battle tested, and they're improving every week, the Buccaneers. But I'm going to say the Buccaneers are going to go into Lambeau and upset the Packers and put something on them. I think the reason why they're going to do it is because they're going to be able to run the football, and Tom Brady and company are going to take advantage and put up some good points against the Packer defense. And I think they're going to win. I think they're going to win by at least 10 points.
Wow, 10 points. So there you go, Mr. Ricky Reynolds, former Buccaneer great. What's it like to play at you call it Lambeau, but Lambeau Field?
Lambeau, I'm sorry. Boo, hey, boo, Lambeau.
Oh, there you go, exactly. I know what you were doing. You were providing shade there, but what's it like to play in there? You're gonna have some fans, but not at full capacity. But what's that atmosphere like, Titletown?
Well, yeah, normally you go in and it's historic. It's out in the middle of nowhere, and when you drive into the stadium, you all of a sudden see people everywhere. These fans come from all over the place in the Green Bay area, and they tailgate, and it's a big party for them, and great tradition. They're great fans, and it's just the mystique of all the great players that have played there, for years and years, in the past, and having the opportunity to play in such a historic place is incredible. It is incredible to be able to play in Lambeau, whatever you want.
Lambeau Field, absolutely.
Yeah, Lambeau.
Exactly. I'll tell you right now, as a young player, were you intimidated? And do you think there will be an intimidation factor with these young players like a Devin White and other guys on this team, or were they go in there and just take care of business?
I don't think it's going to be an intimidation factor. I think the biggest thing for them was getting their feet wet of playing in a playoff game originally. Now, these guys have been on the road, pretty much the whole time, and so now them going to Lambeau Field, they're going to be able to go in, focus, and go out and play football, because now they know what playoff football is all about. They're not going to be intimidated. They're going to be ready to play. They're going to be excited, especially to play on a big stage in such a historic stadium as Lambeau Field.
There you go, Mr. Ricky Reynolds. I got one more comment from Craig Kurtzman. He says, I wish Ricky were on better teams. People didn't know how good he really was, but hey, we know how good you are. That's why we call him former Buccaneer great, still a Buccaneer great. Ricky Reynolds here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, the Sports Web, live on Bucs Report. Thanks a lot for your time. And this time next week, I believe we're going to be talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Raymond James Stadium for Super Bowl 55. How about that, huh?
Yeah, first team to go at their home field.
Yes.
That would be awesome.
Absolutely. All right, Ricky, thanks a lot for your time. Appreciate you, all right?
Yeah, thank you. We'll see you guys next week.
All right, there you go. Ricky Reynolds there on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Open phone line, 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. You have to excuse my voice. I don't know what's going on with it, but I'm just going to run with it at this point. Maybe it's all the screaming at the Deck Bar and Grill, and we'll be live here about 12:30 on Sunday, getting you ready for Bucs versus the Packers. Of course, the NFC Championship game at the Deck Bar and Grill out in Isla del Sol in Tierra Verde. Tierra Verde. Can I say it? All right. It's in St. Pete. A little past St. Pete. We'll have your pre-half and post-game edition of the Sports Web. Goodness gracious. Okay. So maybe put Vita in our third downs. If not, 100%, I believe he needs to try, considering how important this game is. The Bucs know how important the game is. Try to be Green Bay. When you lose against Green Bay, you'll be sitting on the couch just like we are as New Orleans Saints. Brian, I'm just really, dude, if this is your job or you're getting paid for it, you're doing a terrible job, because you said that the other night, man. Bring something else to the table. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. And brother, you're bringing lots of nonsense, man. Seriously. Like, come up with something else. I would be sitting on the couch. I would be sitting on the couch. When you sit on the couch, maybe that's your problem. You sit on the couch too much. Maybe that's your problem in the first place. Maybe you need to get off the couch. Maybe you need to be a little bit more active. 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. Christopher Cole says, got to watch the double moves. Russell Weeks says, just run the ball, convert third downs, and keep AR-12 off the field. Let me go out to the phone lines. What's your name? Where you calling from? You're on the Sports Web.
What's up, Pete? It's Kurt. Man, how you doing?
I'm doing good, buddy. I'm still trying to figure out why I have Saints fans on this, but I guess they like the show and they like to troll. So let's
That's because they're still bitter, man.
Well, that's okay. That's all right. That's what happens.
I hate to say this, but they're bitter like Trump was bitter this morning.
Now let's.
Sorry.
That's all right. Let's not make it political here. Let's not do that.
We're not.
Yeah.
Let's go on to the next.
Yeah, please.
I was watching. I forgot what I was watching this morning, and a lot of people, including myself, or I'm not. Let's just say this: I'm not a Tom Brady fan, but Tom Brady plays for my team. So as long as Tom Brady has on that Bucs uniform, I'm a Tom Brady fan.
Right.
Okay? Let's just say that, number one.
Correct.
Okay. When you put on that Bucs jersey, I'm a fan of you until you take that jersey off. But the comparison I was listening to this morning was, a lot of people still see Montana as the GOAT. And what I want people to understand is where Brady is right now, he's pretty much matched exactly what Montana has did as far as he's already surpassed him with the Super Bowl rings and stuff.
Sure.
But he left like Joe left San Fran. Brady left New England, and he's taking another team to the championship game.
Correct.
And he's on the brink of winning a seventh ring. Which, listen, I personally don't care what anybody say. I feel like it's a done deal, because if we play, I'm praying to God that we play Kansas City in the Super Bowl, and I'm praying to God that we destroy them. Because don't get me wrong, I love Patrick Mahomes. I think he's a great young player.
Correct.
He's a great young kid.
Right.
But I am tired of people worshiping the ground this kid walks on. Like he's the Messiah.
Well, it's kind of like Brady when he came into the league, right? I mean, when Brady won the Super Bowl, it was kind of like he's the new guy, he's the new deal, and that's what we're doing. And I get it. I understand that, but he has weaknesses in his game. The Bucs are going to have to figure it out. That team has weaknesses in their game. And I like to see that rematch, because in that first match against the Chiefs and the Bucs, it was a close game. I don't care what anybody said if the Chiefs took their foot off the pedal and let the Bucs get back in. No, it's the National Football League. It means not for long. It was a close game. Right. I like to see the rematch again, but I'm going to tell you something. If Patrick Mahomes isn't 100%, or he may not even play in this game, I favor the Buffalo Bills, and I think it would be very interesting for the Bills to meet the Bucs in the Super Bowl with Brady's dominance over the Bills. Just very interesting. So we'll see how that works out.
It's funny that you say that, because I have a cousin that is a diehard Buffalo Bills fan.
Right.
And I told him, I said, well, could you imagine Tom Brady playing Buffalo in the Super Bowl? And then if they lose to Tampa in the Super Bowl, the headline in Buffalo is going to be Brady sticks it to Buffalo again.
Right. Correct. Exactly. That would be exactly right. And of course, the Bills would go on to lose 5 Super Bowls. But again, that matchup, it's very tough. But the Buffalo Bills have weapons, and they also have a good young quarterback in a Josh Allen. And they have a Stephon Diggs.
And they have a good young defense as well.
Correct. Absolutely. They don't run the ball. They like to pass the ball. So I'm not sure if that's going to be an advantage or not. But I tell you right now, Buffalo's offense and especially their defense has stepped up in this postseason, especially that defense.
Yep. And, Peter, like I said, like you were saying the other day, I was listening and going back to what you were saying at the beginning of the year, it was basically the Super Bowl with bust.
Yep.
I had faith in it all year. And, every team, especially the way this season started, there were some games that were rocky, but, no preseason, no OTAs, no proper training camp. But, what I want people to understand is if you're a real football fan, and anybody who knows Tom Brady, that guy barely loses in December and January.
Yep. That
guy really does not lose in December and January. And, he wears his heart out there every time he plays the game. And, I was the guy, I'm eating crow again, that was always saying, maybe it was the Belichick system, and apparently it's not.
Nope. It's certainly not.
No, absolutely. And, what people need to understand about the NFL is you look at it, who was in the Super Bowl last year? It was San Fran and it was
Kansas City.
And San Fran was the surprise team last year.
Correct.
Because, the year before when Garoppolo was hurt, they had the number 2 pick. That's how they got Nick Bosa.
Right.
But as soon as they got their quarterback back, and he wasn't out there turning the ball over and stuff like that, they went to the damn Super Bowl
with a great defense and a running game,
just like the Bucs this year.
Right, exactly.
Brady wasn't out there throwing 30,000 picks like James Winston was, and just protecting the ball and not turning the ball over.
Right.
And we're on the brink of going to another Super Bowl.
Agree. Absolutely agree. And I tell you right now, the way it's going, the way this team is playing, the momentum. I always go back to Harry's comment, the mo. I love that. The mo. The Bucs have the mo right now. You can see it.
Yep.
And I feel like, and I get it, everybody's saying, don't take Green Bay lightly. And I don't think the Bucs are doing that. And from Bruce Arians' comments today, and we'll get to those in a little bit, he's definitely not taking it lightly. And I don't think he has this team taking it lightly. They know what's in front of them. If you take care of your business at Lambeau Field, you can come home and play in Super Bowl 55. Take care of your business.
Yeah, and like they say in the NFL, you don't look past the game that's in front of you.
Of course.
And like earlier this season, when we played Aaron Rodgers, I was terrified. Even in that first quarter, how good he looked in that first quarter.
Sure.
You were like, oh God, this is going to go terribly wrong. And
sure.
What I love about Todd Bowles is, and I've made this comment on the show before, is what I love about Todd Bowles is that he adjusts his defense all the time.
Yep.
And wherever he's gone, his young secondary has always played their heart out. And like we talked about last week, Sean Murphy-Bunting, that kid has gone from being the hated to the loved.
Sure.
And he's out there playing. He's playing his ass off out there. And there's nothing anybody can say about it.
I'll tell you right now, it's kind of, if you want to make a comparison with the anniversary yesterday, it's kind of like when Rondé Barber came into the league. Rondé Barber couldn't even start. He was rough. Technically, he wasn't that good. And then all of a sudden, here comes Rondé Barber. And to me, I think he's a Hall of Famer. But Sean Murphy-Bunting, not saying that Sean Murphy-Bunting is a Hall of Famer. I'm just saying, if you're working on it, you work on technique, you get it right, eventually you can turn into a player with patience, and this organization has had that patience with him. They played him last year. You could see in the second half of the year, he was getting more comfortable. You could see this defense was getting more comfortable, and that's why you got excited about it, no matter what quarterback. But then you have an all-time great, the greatest of all time in a Tom Brady, a Rob Gronkowski, other players around it, plus a defense. You knew eventually that cream was going to rise to the top, and that's exactly what's going on right now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I'll tell you right now, I kind of look at it from the standpoint of, look, the Bucs had their problems with the Eagles in the past, okay? The Bucs had their problems with the Saints now, and they get over that hump. To me, it's a foregone conclusion that not only are they going to beat the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau, but they're going to win Super Bowl 55 because they have the mo. There you go.
Yep. And I will say this too, I've been really looking at it, and Leonard Fournette is actually one of the best signings that we had this year. And the only reason I'm going to say that is because if you look at Leonard Fournette, what he's been doing since the playoffs have started, he's exactly the running back that Tom Brady needs. He pass blocks, he catches the ball out the backfield, and he runs for those tough yards in between the tackles, just like all the running backs that he had in New England.
Sure he does. Absolutely.
And I know you're like me. You love Ronald Jones because we thought that kid was going to be a bust when we had whatever the terrible head coach was. We had
Dirk Cutter. Yes, Dirk Cutter. Absolutely. Yeah.
We all thought Ronald Jones was going to be a bust.
Sure.
And this kid, it looks like we hit a home run pretty much on him.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'll tell you right now, with that burst and when he gets that space and he gets into that second or that third gear, of course, he's got to work on the pass catching. Of course, he's got to work on the pass protection, but those are things you can work on. Once again, you have the patience, you can develop. And I think Fournette, during this season, he's been inconsistent, and he looks, at times he didn't look very interested in playing for the Bucs or didn't look interested in playing the running back position. But you're exactly right. Ever since the playoffs have started, Ronald Jones was out, and he's gotten the call. He's done everything he could to be the top running back on this team. That's not to say he is, but right now he's playing like it, and you're exactly right. That's the reason why.
I'm pretty sure, Peter, you saw the interview with him. And, he was like you said, he's been humbled this season. Yeah. Because he's used to being the guy. Yep. And this season he wasn't the guy. He had to take a back seat to it and wait his turn. But then when he finally got his turn, he showed his ass, and that's what he's been doing lately. Yeah. And he's been completely balling out. There's nothing that anybody can say about it.
No, there's nothing I would say about it at all. He continues to play the way he does and continues to catch passes consistently and catch a big touchdown to tie up the game and pass block and run with that aggression as a bell cow runner. There's nothing you can say because if he continues, right? Because now they have that lightning and thunder combination. And I'm not about to compare, but it's almost like Alstott and Dunn, if you will. I mean, you remember the heyday there when Dungy was coaching this team, and you had an Alstott who was your thunder, and then you had your lightning with Warwick Dunn. That's what you can have here going on.
Do you remember those?
Of course, you remember it. Of course, you remember Alstott up the guts.
Whenever we got on the goal line,
right?
You put Alstott in the back.
Yes,
everybody knew where the ball was going.
Of course, it didn't matter. And nobody was going to stop Mike Alstott. Not a single player, maybe 2 or 3 players, but not a single player was going to stop Mike Alstott from getting into that end zone.
I would love to see the Bucs put a jumbo package on the field, on the goal line on this Sunday, and you have Gronk and all your big offensive linemen out there blocking, and then you put Vita at fullback and then put Fournette behind him.
I don't know if you're going to see Vea do that. I know there's a lot of people that want to see him play, but I guarantee you they probably had that in their plans this year before he got hurt. We saw it last year, so we know how much of an athlete he is. So we'll see if he plays or not. I think it's going to be a big impact. Who knows? If he plays, that's definitely a good thing. That's for sure.
Before I let you go, Peter, because I got to get ready to go to work.
Yeah.
I want all my Bucs fans to remember one thing.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna curse? Don't curse now.
Don't forget that. Don't forget that history goes back to Detroit.
Okay. All right. Let me go to.
In the game.
Right.
Just play the game.
Play the game.
Play the game.
That's it. Absolutely. All right, my friend. Thanks a lot.
I think we're gonna be good, and I will actually give you my prediction because I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna say it's gonna be 30-25.
30-25. Okay. 30-25.
They're going to be up 25-23, and I'm going to say Chris Godwin is going to score a late touchdown.
Okay.
And he's going to redeem himself.
Okay.
Because I know he's been kind of down on himself because of some of the drop passes, and I was very upset about that catch that they didn't rule a touchdown for him in that Saints game. But I mean, I
Sure.
understand
Mm-hmm.
the whole Calvin Johnson drop ball, whatever, Dez Bryant, whatever thing. But Chris Godwin's going to redeem himself, and we're going to be all right.
All right, good stuff, Curtis. Let me go ahead and fire those cannons for you right there. Appreciate the call. Don't be a stranger, all right, my friend?
All right, brother. Take it easy.
All right. See you later, buddy. There you go. Curtis from Newport Richie, one of my favorite webheads. Let me read these comments. And we got former Tampa Bay Buccaneer Corey Ivy in the house. We got Harry the Greek, my professional handicapper. We'll push that a little bit back. We'll get Mr. Ivy on, see what he thinks about this Buccaneer run. Of course, playing in the NFC Championship versus the Green Bay Packers. You are not dreaming. You are on the sports web, the evolution of sports talk television here, brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts. So let me keep on going out to these web heads here. Okay, got to watch the double moves. Russell says, just run the ball, convert third downs, and that keeps AR-12 off the field. Russell says also Green Bay offense can't score from the sidelines. Mike says, is Vita Vea active? He practiced today. We're not sure if he's going to play on Sunday or not. We'll keep you abreast of the situation. Go, Pack, go. And Roger Shue, you are a troll king because you are a Bears fan. So how dare you say that? And here's what you get for that. All right, Ben says, we're talking over. It's our time. Tim says, Devin White is mayhem and State Farm doesn't protect against mayhem. Richard says, you're awesome. Well, thank you very much. I think either I'm awesome or Ricky's awesome, but we appreciate that. What was the temp in Bucs versus the Eagles NFC Championship game? I believe it was like 40-something degrees, maybe under 40 degrees. I'll tell you what, I'm going to ask Corey Ivy that when we get him on here. Ricky, can you tell me what it's like playing at Lambeau? We answered that question. Brian says, Roger Shue, thank you. You trolls can troll together. Richard Rayborn in the 30s and got colder as the game went on. UCAN says the snow itself will beat the Bucs. Eric says, Ricky, how jealous are you that players have heated benches and helmet warmers now? We'll have to ask him that another time. Buck the world, get the Buck out of here. Aints, UCAN says, Saints Nation, baby, who that? Buck the world again. Yeah, UCAN, son of Sam. That was good. I like that one. That was really good. Buck the world again. You're irrelevant right now. UCAN says the Packers will avenge us. Buck the world. We buried Breeze. Did you find him? Richard says 31-27 Bucs. Richard again. What was the temp in the Bucs versus the Redskins playoff game? Rob says the team that you feel. The team that has a feel of the Steelers and the Giants teams that were wild cards and went on the road to win it all. The Giants team that went into Lambeau had JPP, so he's been there. That is an excellent point, and you're absolutely correct. The Giants did go into Lambeau and beat them. That was, of course, the last time the Bucs made the playoffs. They beat them in the wild card game 24-14. Let me go out to Roger Shue. Blew your voice out at work. Possible. You can. Nice podcast, bro. If you think this is a podcast, it's the evolution of sports talk television. A podcast is something recorded. A podcast is something that is edited. This is a cross between a radio and TV show. There is nothing like it. That's why we call it the evolution of sports talk television live here on Bucs Report Nightly. So I appreciate that. I know why, but I feel like everyone is so much hype going into last week's game. It's more blah this week, even though it's the NFC Championship. Woo! Right there. I know you were going to say that. Hope the players don't feel the same. I'm sure they don't. UCAN says, let's talk NASCAR Sprint 800. We don't talk NASCAR on this show. Sorry. Hey, Brian, where were you last night to hold up on your end of the bet? Eric says, did they say what uniform combo we're wearing this weekend? Yes, it matters. Buck the world, NASCAR, exactly. Let's go out to Daniel. They'll be the first team in NFL history to play in their home stadium in the Super Bowl. UCAN says, can you bring in Greg Schiano, Bucs legend? He's not a Bucs legend. Sorry, guy. Hey, can we chat on StreamYard? You can. And this Super Bowl is for Dirk Cutter. So without further ado, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, former Baltimore Raven, also had a stint in the XFL. I was doing my research. Mr. Corey Ivy, welcome to the evolution of sports talk television. And how do you feel about your former team being in the NFC Championship game versus an Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers?
You know, it's an exciting time around Tampa, and it's going to be even more exciting if they can go up to Green Bay and come back with a victory. And during all this COVID stuff that's going on. It's impressive, and hopefully they can get the job done Sunday.
How happy were you to see that defensive effort versus the Saints? And look, the Saints have been a house of horrors for the Tampa Bay Buccaneer team. But how much pride do you take? Because you played corner in the NFL. You played corner for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You were a special teams standout. How fun was that to watch a Sean Murphy bunting, a Jamel Dean, a Carlton Davis, and even a Devin White last Sunday versus the Saints?
Yeah, it was definitely exciting. Tampa is known for good defense, and Todd Bowles does a great job with getting those guys ready to play. They're very blitz heavy, very aggressive style defense, and they create turnovers to give their offense a short field. And that's what they did against Drew Brees, and hopefully they can do that against Aaron Rodgers.
Talk about that challenge playing an Aaron Rodgers, tough quarterback, minimal interceptions, although when he faced the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the first matchup, he had 2. So if you're a cornerback, you're playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now. Do you have confidence? Do you think a Carlton Davis, especially a Jamel Dean, who had a pick 6, a Sean Murphy bunting coming off that big game versus the Saints, has confidence in going against possibly a Hall of Fame quarterback in Rodgers?
Yeah, those guys back there, man, they're very impressive. Carlton Davis last week, he shut out Mike Thomas, the leading reception guy the past couple of years in the NFL. He had held him to no catches. And Dean is very impressive when he does come in there. And then you got Bunting, who's manning the slot. He had a great interception last weekend, a game changer, set up the position for the offense to score. And that's really all you can ask for from those guys back there, is just to make a play on the ball when it's given an opportunity. And when they do make a play on the ball, it's definitely game changing.
Yeah, it really is game-changing, and we're on with former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, Mr. Corey Ivy, who, of course, played corner in this league. We had Ricky Reynolds on before, former Buccaneer, great. You've not only played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but that Super Bowl team, but, of course, you played for the Baltimore Ravens and played in the XFL. Once again, thanks a lot for your time on the Sports Web. And everybody keeps on saying, Corey, that this team can't go up there. I heard Colin Cowherd today on Fox Sports 1 say, there's never been any warm weather teams go up to the north and playing cold weather games, but you guys kind of defied that with shutting down the Vet. Talk about that experience and playing in that game and that mental aspect of it before the game. How are you guys feeling? How are you feeling about it? Because this was an Eagles team that dominated the Bucs for so many years.
Yeah, they definitely did. As a matter of fact, we went there earlier in that year and lost to them at the Vet. So it was like a second time coming around. Like you said, it was very cold that day. It was in the 30s, and it was a night game. So it was around 6 o'clock when the kickoff was, and it was in the last game in the old Vet. So, it's cold. It's dreary. Just a very hostile environment. So definitely it was tough. And you're right. We hadn't won in a cold weather game. We just told ourselves, man, we just got to go out there and play our kind of football and let the weather not be a contributing factor, because both teams are playing in it. So we went out there, and it definitely helps when you win. It's not that cold when you win.
No, you're exactly right about that, because if you're winning, you barely feel it. But, of course, if you're losing. So, in your opinion, looking at the way this makeup of this team is going right now and the role that they're on 6 in a row, and they're 6-2 during the season on the road, 2 more games they won in the playoffs. So now they're 8-2. With the makeup of this team, do you think they can go up there and basically beat the Green Bay Packers in the cold weather, possibly snow?
Yeah, anytime you can run the ball and play action pass, you always give yourself a chance to win. You run the ball and you play great defense like they've been playing for the past 6-7 weeks, man, and the record speaks for themselves. You have a Hall of Fame, probably the best quarterback ever played the game, Tom Brady. So he knows how to manage the game in certain nuances. So he's a former New England Patriot, so he's played in all the elements. And he's going to tell those guys, man, just for 4 quarters or 60 minutes, or if it takes longer than that, you have to just go out there and get the job done. And both teams are playing in the weather, and they're definitely battle tested. So they're going to go up there, man. They're going to put their best foot forward and represent Tampa Bay in the best possible way, and that should be enough.
What do the defensive coaches tell you guys going up to the Eagles and playing that team? Because you're like you said, you lost at the middle part of the season. And, of course, I think Brad Johnson gets hurt in that game. Warren Sapp kind of gets hurt. Derek Brooks kind of gets hurt, but it was a close game, and I felt like at the time the Bucs could have won that game. What was the defensive coaches saying to you? What were the players thinking? I mean, was everybody just thinking they're going to go up there, take care of business, no more Mr. Nice Guy, we're going to take care of the Philadelphia Eagles and shut down the vet?
Well, yeah, it was a very hostile environment. This year there's no fans, so the home field advantage is kind of even though you are at Lambeau. But it was a very hostile environment. We just felt like we had to weather the storm. We knew we had a good football team. We just came off of blowing out San Francisco in our first playoff home opener, and we were just riding the momentum. We were a hot team coming in, and we didn't start off all too well with the kickoff almost being run back, and then the first play they score on the next play. So we found ourselves down, and we came back and tied up the game, and we kind of took the crowd out of it a little bit. So then we felt that we had them on the ropes. When we did get up, we ran the ball, converted on a couple of third downs, and it really kind of took the crowd out of it. And they made a late drive that when Rondé capped off the interception return, that was really the nail in the coffin. And after that, man, it was just jubilation and excitement and ready to get on the next week to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I think to me it was like to a lot of fans. We're on with former Tampa Bay Buccaneer Mr. Corey Ivy, cornerback, played for not only the Bucs, the Ravens, XFL, plenty of teams and lots of stories here. I think it was a foregone conclusion that once you beat the Eagles, basically the Super Bowl was a foregone conclusion. You're going to win that because you got over.
Yeah.
Could you see that with this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team? Is there a similarity between that 2002 Buccaneer team because they had so much difficulty with the Saints to now once they get over that hump as a get-over game that they can basically beat anybody now?
Yeah, it definitely is. Offenses take a little longer to gel than defenses. This is their second, third year running Coach Bowles' defense. So the defenses, they're a little bit ahead of the offense. So the offense is really finally caught up. It's kind of just like our Super Bowl year. They started off a little slow. The defense was playing out of our minds with the Defensive Player of the Year, Derek Brooks, returning touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. And finally, the offense around playoff time, they started to hit on all cylinders, man. And we were definitely something to reckon with especially after we got done with Philadelphia. We had great confidence, and it was a short turnaround. Back then, you flew straight to the Super Bowl. So we definitely carried that momentum just into the next week, man, and came out with a decisive victory against Oakland.
Absolutely, 48-21, which I always remind my friend who's a Raider fan still to this day, and I always put it in his face that the Bucs beat the Raiders. With that being said, comparisons here, 2002 defense is a lot better than this defense, you would say, but the offense, it's like light years better. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, they have the greatest quarterback to ever play the game, in my opinion. Maybe yeah, and then they play complementary football. They can run the ball. I mean, but it all starts with the quarterback play in that league, man. And Tom Brady, he's age defying. He's definitely he's seen it all, so nothing is going to be a surprise to him, man. And he's going to have those guys ready. Everybody gravitates to him, and everybody wants the hardware that he's had 6 different times, man. And he's going to tell those guys that just this game is the most important game because it's the next game, and so. He's going to have those guys ready to play. Coach Arians and Coach Bowles and those gentlemen, man, they'll be ready to play, and they'll do fine.
Talk about defensive coaches. You talked about Coach Bowles, but let's talk about Coach Kiffin. What was it like playing for him, being your defensive coordinator? What was it? Some other coaches, Rod Marinelli. What was it like playing for that coach?
Yeah, I mean, it's like the Mount Rushmore of coaches with that. You had the Mike Tomlin, you had the Raheem Morris, you had Joe Barry, Rod Marinelli, and the Monty Kiffin, the orchestrator of it all. And it was a good time learning from those guys. I'm coaching now, so I use a lot of philosophies, man, just a lot of Kiffinisms and Tomlinisms and Marinelliisms that I use just from listening to them and gaining all kind of football knowledge. And those guys really taught me a little nuances of football, and it's definitely paved the way for me to have a successful career on and off the field.
Who is the coach that had the biggest impact on you, Corey?
Probably Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin came in there as a young coach, man, fresh out of the University of Cincinnati. He stepped into a room with Rondé Barber and John Lynch and Brian Kelly and Warren Sapp, and he really didn't miss a beat, man. He just came in there and we just had trust in him. We were a little skeptical because he was a young coach coming from college at that time, but he gravitated to the room, man. He knew what he was talking about. He had the attention to detail. He had the same visions that we had. So he definitely was a coach that was very instrumental and very knowledgeable beyond the years that he had been a young coach in the NFL.
Good stuff there. And I felt like the Bucs should have never let him get out of the building, but somehow he has. And man, he's turned out to be a phenomenal coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Coming back to your career, what was your toughest assignment in the NFL? What's the toughest thing to learn playing that cornerback position? You really have to have a short memory. Go ahead and explain the psyche of playing a corner in the National Football League.
Yeah, you do have to have a short memory. Like you said, the ball is, especially nowadays, man, they're just throwing the ball all around the yard like a glorified 7-on-7 drill sometimes. So you definitely have to have a short memory. You have to definitely study tape. There's a lot of nuances that offenses give you, little keys that you have to study for film during the year. And you just have to have the attention to detail. The most important play is the next play, and you can't harp too much on a good play that you made or a bad play that you might have given up. So I guess that's what Bowles preaches to those guys, and just play the next play and try to make an impactful play. And when you do get a chance to make a play, you have to capitalize.
What was your toughest matchup? What was the toughest receiver you had to cover? What was your toughest play? And then what was your best play that you can recount from your Tampa Bay Buccaneer days or the NFL days in general?
All of them are tough. The Chad Johnsons, the Steve Smiths, the Hines Wards. All those guys are tough, Pro Bowl, Hall of Fame caliber receivers, man. So you have to bring your A game every day. But just really, I'm a team guy, and man, just winning the Super Bowl. That was the greatest thing. All these years that you watch TV, but you're definitely rarefied air if you're able to hold up that Lombardi trophy. And that's what we got to do that year. And just really the memories, just the brotherhoods and the relationships that you build on the coaches and the players and just different players that you play against, man. You really just do sit back and realize how truly blessed you were. But I can't point out any specific play or anything. Just the whole overall body of work. Just really, I'm grateful for.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy that week because you had a fast turnaround. You beat Philadelphia. You don't get a week in return. You actually have to play the Super Bowl on that week. Did you guys prefer that, or do you like the week in between where you can rest and you have media row and stuff like that? Why did the NFL do that to you guys?
I don't know. I guess that's how the rules were back then. We had great momentum. So, like I said before, we had the late game. It was the 6:40 game in Philadelphia, night game. So we didn't get back until like 2:00 the next morning. And 9:00, man, we were at a team meeting, have your bags packed, and get ready to jump on the plane to go to San Diego. So it was all a blur. Really, guys just went home, got dressed. Took a shower, packed, and got ready to get up the next morning and have a team meeting at the facility, load the bus, and get on the plane to San Diego. So it was, for us, I think it was the best thing going because we were highly motivated. We were just coming off a victory in Philadelphia that nobody thought we could win. We had the great momentum going. So for us in that particular experience, it was the best. It was the best time.
Looking at this matchup on Sunday, who has more pressure? Is it the Bucs or is it the Green Bay Packers because they're playing at home and you have Aaron Rodgers? It's the first time you have an NFC Championship team or NFC Championship game, excuse me. And do you think the Bucs could be looking ahead because they got over that tough road of the Saints, or are they locked in your opinion?
They have to be locked in. Tom Brady, he's been there enough times. He's not going to let their minds wander. He's going to play little mind games with them that he's played before when he was in New England. So those guys, they'll be locked in because they know that some greats that are calling themselves Hall of Famers, man, they've never got a chance to play in the playoffs or even get to the Super Bowl. So this is a very important game that they'll be prepared for, and And yeah, hopefully they're going to go up there. You know, it's not going to be that much of a crowd. So the crowd home field advantage is probably even keel. So they're gonna face a highly motivated Aaron Rodgers. You know, they beat him earlier this year pretty decisively and got after Aaron Rodgers a little bit. So he's going to be highly motivated in front of his home crowd and in front of his stadium. They're going to get to sleep in the bed that they're usually able to. They're going to have to go through their regular pregame routines, which they can feel comfortable with at home. So it's definitely going to be a challenge, man. I'm looking forward for the Bucs going up there and doing what they have to do to come out with a victory.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're on with former Tampa Bay Buccaneer Corey Ivy, of course, Super Bowl 37 winning player, Mr. Corey Ivy. What's a player who's a player that had a big time impact on you? Who's some of your friends that were on that Super Bowl team, and who do you still stay in touch with these days?
Well, definitely. We keep in touch all the time. You know, when you retire as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, a lot of guys just sit around. I mean, a lot of guys continue to live in the Tampa Bay area. You know, we got Derek Brooks, McFarland, we got Rondé Barber. Those guys, man, they still live there. Then you run into Chris Hovan, a couple of guys, and Quincy Black, a couple of guys who played with Tampa, maybe not at the time that I played, but a lot of guys just hang around and because what better places to be in Tampa Bay, man? The weather's nice all year around. And it's just Tampa really treats the guys who've went out there and performed and performed at a high level for the crowd. Man, they show those guys a lot of love around the city. And what better places to be than to retire and just hang up your hat and put your feet in the sand in Tampa Bay.
You mentioned Derek Brooks. Did he have the biggest impact on you?
He's one of the guys, man. Really him, Lynch, Rondé Barber. Me being an undrafted free agent like I was, when I made the team, those guys really embraced me like I was a first-round draft pick, man. So I owe those guys a lot. They taught me a lot about football, nuance. It doesn't take the biggest, the fastest, the strongest, man. You just got to be willing to go out there and execute and pay the little attention to details and do what other people aren't willing to do to make the team, you know, and contribute in any way possible. So when you contribute and they show you that you can play football, they'll accept you. And those guys really took me under their wing and shown me how to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer and a true professional.
You're talking about true professionals here. You have Warren Sapp, who's a Hall of Famer. You have Derek Brooks, who's a Hall of Famer. Corey, why isn't John Lynch or Rondé Barber in the Hall of Fame? What gives here, buddy?
I don't know, man. It's long overdue. Hopefully they'll get in this Super Bowl weekend and definitely have them in the Ring of Honor along with the other guys that are up there. But, man, those guys definitely paved the way. I mean, Rondé Barber reinvented the nickelback position, man. All them guys getting paid them big bucks. These days, Rondé Barber definitely paved the way for the rest of the nickels performing how he did in that slot. And John Lynch, the enforcer back there, he couldn't play in these days right now because he'd have too many penalties. But he's definitely a guy that's impacted the game with the strong safety position, man. And definitely had a lot of guys taking second looks coming over the middle. So he was definitely a key cog in our defensive scheme back then.
Corey, you mentioned John Lynch couldn't play in this game these days. Do you think you could? Because it seems like the rules more favor quarterbacks in the NFL. Could you play corner in this day and age? And who's one corner that you would pay to see right now as we speak?
Yeah, I can play it these days and age. You know, it's not that much difference as far as outside playing the defensive back position. Really, the little nuances that I'm talking about is just the overall physicality of the game, man. We used to we were talking about this the other day when we were golfing with Brooks and McFarland, and I was telling Brooks that, man, some of the hits that you put on these people, you would have got kicked out of the games and 15-yard penalty here and personal foul here, but he begs to differ. So definitely the physicality part has changed, man. You know, these guys go across the middle, and if you hit them too hard, then you get a flag. We used to call that, it's just part of doing business, but we now it's just a totally different game. It's like a verified 7-on-7, but it's still some physicality, but just not as much.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. He had a penalty the other day versus Jordan Whitehead, and it clearly looked like, Corey, he was going shoulder in, and
Yeah.
because the guy ducked his head, it looked like he got hit with his helmet. It's like, what is a defensive player supposed to do? Am I missing something here?
Yeah, those are definitely, and those kind of penalties, man. Those could be game-changing penalties, and the refs really have too much power when it comes to that. That should definitely be something that they should review, because those, like I said before, those are game-changing things that can happen. And I seen just earlier this week, I think it was Detroit against somebody, and somebody landed on Matthew Stafford, and they called a 15-yard penalty, and it was just an atrocious call, and some of those guys need to be held just as responsible as the players.
No, you're exactly right here, and I'm just amazed by it. I'm just amazed at how any players can play in this league anymore, because it favors the offense. That's why quarterbacks are doing so well. With that being said, who's a corner that you would pay to see, or you watch playing the game these days?
There's a lot of good guys out there, man. You got Jalen Ramsey. You got Tampa Bay's own Carlton Davis. You have you still have Patrick Peterson out there playing at a high level. Derwin James is out there playing, man. There's some guys out there. Xavier Rhodes up in Indianapolis. Those are still guys that are playing at a high level, and they're just going to have to pass the torch to these younger guys that are coming in the league. So the Tyrann Matthews of the world and all those kind of guys paved the way. So, and I still enjoy watching those guys play, man. They still play with a lot of passion. And that's just really half the battle, man. Just play with a lot of passion and pass the torch on to the younger fellas in the league, and hope they can continue to play at a high level and put on a good showing for the fans.
Now, you mentioned you're coaching right now. What's your advice to the players that you coach? And then is there some type of special nuance when you talk to corners or secondary players that you try to give them a little bit of advice too?
Yeah, well, currently I'm coaching up here over here at UCF. So,
okay.
Yeah, I'm dealing with the college kids, man, and they always question me, how did I get to where I got? And I said, man, just being coachable and doing what you're coached to do, and don't try to overdo it. You have to have a certain moxie about you to go out there and play. And it's not always going to fall your way. So you have to come at adverse situations. This game of football teaches you not only to be tough mentally and physically, but it also teaches you life lessons. Now, if you get down on something, you always have to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and get back to work, because tough times last. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. So I try to instill an amount of toughness in them. They come from different backgrounds, so some of them come from well-to-do families, and some of them come from times that are struggling. And when you get in the real world, man, nothing is going to be given to you. Everything is earned. So I try to instill that in those young men, and hopefully they can get out there and fulfill their dreams of playing in the NFL.
Is your coaching aspirations, Corey, to be eventually a defensive coordinator or even a head coach? And why has UCF had so much success? Is it all about recruiting there?
It is all about recruiting, man. I'm new to the college game, so it is definitely all about recruiting, because you have to get kids in the building. But yeah, hopefully I can work my way up. I really don't want to be a defensive coordinator. I just want to be the best DB coach. I want to be a DB coach in the NFL one day, man, and just have my own room, and just definitely impact people's lives. I was talking to a coach the other day, and he says, "Why do you want to coach?" And I said, I want to impact and serve. So, man, I want to help kids fulfill their dreams and to get to the next level and be able to provide for their families like I was able to do.
I love it. I absolutely love it, and definitely love to have you here on the Sports Web, the Evolution. Check out UCF. I'm an FSU fan. I'm trying to figure out what FSU is going to be able to do, have some semblance of success like UCF has here in the last couple of years with their recruiting situation.
Well,
and
they got Mackenzie Milton up there now, so right. Hopefully they can turn the corner.
Talk about him a little bit, if you like. I mean, his story in itself is amazing. It's somewhat like Alex Smith. I mean, scary injury at Raymond James Stadium. He's going to be successful with FSU, right? In your opinion?
Yeah, man, that kid's a warrior, man. Like you said, he had a horrific injury at Raymond James Stadium 2 years ago, and he's fought his way back, man. After surgery after surgery, rehab after rehab. I mean, he's a tough kid mentally, and he's definitely a tough kid physically coming back from that injury, man. Just the mental toll that it takes for you to come back from a type of injury he had. A lot of people have seen the Alex Smith story, and he has his story of his own. So, man, it's definitely destined for him to go out there. FSU definitely has a winner, man. We always say that we can win with 10 on our sideline. So they're definitely got a good guy who's highly motivated to get out there and show the college football world that he still can get out there and do it.
How motivated were you to play in the first XFL? And what's one of the funniest stories? Did you ever get a chance to meet a Vince McMahon or one of the wrestlers at that time? Talk about that experience with the first XFL.
You know, that was a good experience, man. I really did enjoy it. They had a good team. I was playing with the Chicago team, of course, and they had teams all over: Las Vegas, LA, Orlando, New York, Birmingham. So it was a really good time. So yeah, we played. Matter of fact, when they had the thing about the Saturday Night Live, how Saturday Night Live was waiting on the game that went into overtime between us, Chicago, and the LA team with Tommy Maddox, and that Saturday Night Live with Dick Enberg and all that chaos was going on, and they didn't know what to do. It was really surprising. I didn't know any of that until I saw that show. But the XFL was a good thing, man. And hopefully The Rock can get it back going next year.
Did you like the latest reincarnation of it? Because it seemed like it was getting some ratings. You know, they had some players cursing and coaches cursing. Do you like that reincarnation of the XFL?
I did. I mean, I just like watching football. So anytime I get to watch football, especially in the spring when nothing's really going on, football's not going on, and people just tend to gravitate to football, man. It brings people together during that time when it's not going on. And I think spring football is definitely developmental, which is okay. I mean, it developed to myself. There's been some successful guys come from those leagues. So anytime you can get out there and play football and try to show the NFL that you are good enough to play in the NFL, whichever avenue you have to play, NFL, Europe, XFL, whatever the case may be, you definitely just want to go out there and play and hopefully get a shot to get back to where you think you belong.
All right, give me the prediction on Sunday for this NFC Championship game. Who wins and why? Bucs versus the Packers.
Well, you know I'm gonna have to go with the home team Bucs. I'm not too good at predictions, so I'm gonna go 27. I'm gonna go 27-16 Buccaneers, and they get to host a home Super Bowl game, which is a first in Super Bowl history. So I mean, Tampa could be a wild place in a couple of weeks, man. So Tampa Bay, get ready. They might have to lift them COVID restrictions and just let us hang out for 2 weeks.
I love it. I absolutely love this guy. We got to definitely have you back on here again. I said in March, Super Bowl or bust, people were crazy. Like, oh, Brady's coming in here first string. It's Brady. It's Tom Brady. It's Rob Gronkowski. They got a defense. They got the offensive weapons. And we've had Corey Ivy on here, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, Super Bowl 37 winner, and now coaching the UFC Golden Knights. Man, thanks a lot for your time. We appreciate you here on The Evolution, all right?
Man, no problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, buddy. There you go. Corey Ivy there, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer. A lot of great experiences heard from him, right? A lot of great stories. I mean, people, well, all you got is newspaper writers. Oh, all you got is Bucs report people. No, we don't. We have Ricky Reynolds on here. By the way, he predicted the Bucs to win by 10 or more, and you just had Corey Ivy who played in the league. So what do you want from me? Oh, you want phone calls? You got them. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. You want to text? You can text. Text in, Webhead. If you want to troll me, I'll do this. If you want to congratulate the Bucs winning and being in the NFC Championship, I'll do this. Woo! Exactly. Or I'll do this. Or I'll do this. When we talk playoffs.
Playoffs?
Yeah.
Don't talk about playoffs.
Yeah, Jim.
You kidding me?
Playoffs.
Playoffs?
Just don't do this. I mean, I just don't want to hear that. I can't deal with it because then I have to talk to myself and then people say, man, you're crazy. And you're right. I am crazy. I'm crazy about the show. I'm crazy about Bucs Report as a platform. Join the 68,000 following we have here on Facebook, of course, live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and that Bucs Report Twitch channel. Of course, this show brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts for all your great auto parts needs. It's Advanced Auto Parts. Tell them I sent you, and of course, Bucs Report sent you. Let me go out to the webheads, and then we'll get our professional handicapper on, Mr. Harry the Greek. If the weather is what they say it is, this game could come down to Jones, Williams versus Rojo and Fournette. And with our run defense, you got to feel confident. Dalvin Cook ran all over them. I agree. David says Tampa can do it. No turnovers, and I believe they will win this game. Rob says, again, I feel you on the refs, Corey. Those BS roughing calls on Nick Foles are why we aren't 12-4. Agree with that. Let's go out to my professional handicapper here, waiting so patiently as he has to follow Ricky Reynolds and, of course, Corey Ivy. Let's go out to Harry the Greek, my professional handicapper, 88%, 89% going up by the second, the minute, the hour, the day. Kids, if you're not writing these predictions down, what are you writing down? Welcome to the Evolution. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Fantastic. How are you tonight, Peter Blake?
Doing great. Talking to former NFL football players, and they keep on telling me that it comes down to not only this defense, but also this running game. And you would have to say that the Bucs somewhat have an advantage, but that's not to say the Packers don't have their own running game, right?
No, they do actually have a running game. You know, I got some pretty decent statistics for you. For the season, on first down, Tampa Bay is rushing the football 23% of the times. You want to take a guess what Green Bay is?
Where are they at?
33.
Wow.
But now, in the last game, Tampa went to 35% on first down. Green Bay was 43%. And by the way, those statistics are 32nd in the NFL right now for Tampa Bay. On rushing on first down. And the Packers are right around mid-track, around 15th.
Yeah, during the season, there's only 3 teams that rush the ball less than the Bucs, and of course, that running game definitely picked it up with 35 carries for 127 yards. Could you see that during this Packer game because of the weather conditions? It's going to be cold. There could be snow. Does snow and does that affect a passing game? You got to feel like it affects the passing game to a certain degree, right, Harry?
Without question, it does. They better run the football. If you want to beat this Green Bay team in Green Bay, they better bring a running game. For the year, Tampa's ran for about 1,500 yards, and that's about, 4.1 yards per carry and 369 attempts. But with Green Bay, 2,120 yards on the year. And we're talking about a quarterback that's also thrown for 40-plus touchdowns. They're averaging 4.8 yards per carry on 443 rushing attempts. Very similar statistics, not a big variance, anything over 4 yards a carry, you're doing something in the National Football League. And for a team that didn't really want to run the football as much, Tampa Bay's done an extraordinary job in the past couple of weeks.
They really have. Leonard Fournette has definitely stepped up. When Ronald Jones is healthy, he's got that extra burst. Would you expect Fournette to start this game and them to rotate Jones in because of that quad injury? Or could they go with Jones as the starter and move in Fournette? What do you think the mo lies with this running back room?
I love it.
I love it. I love it. I love the mo. Yes, the mo. I love it.
There wouldn't be anything wrong with starting Ronald Jones, the victim of volume.
Victim of volume, yes.
However, don't try to fix something that's not broken right now.
Okay.
Leonard Fournette's got the hot hand. They both ran for decent yards last week. I do think that Ronald Jones, albeit that the quad doesn't get so tight, especially in those cold weather, temperatures. He should be able to get off the ball running very well. And it's going to be a really good 1-2 punch. But some other stats for you, very, very comparable here. On, total first downs for Green Bay in the year, 358 first downs. Tampa has 364. Third down conversions, 89 for 183 on Green Bay, 83 for 191. Fourth down, 13 for 21 for Green Bay, 8 for 14 on Tampa. These are very similar statistics. Both teams don't have to prove they know how to throw the football. Both teams better establish a running game if either one of these teams want to win. It's a very evenly matched game. I did break down the tape between both teams. I will give the prediction unless someone really pushes me into a corner. I can give one tonight. I'm kind of leaning one way. Yesterday, the line was as high as Green Bay was favored by 4.5 points, but a lot of money has gone back on the Buccaneers. Vegas has taken millions and millions of dollars because that line is 3.5. And you have to lay a lot of juice if you want to take that 3.5 points. So that's telling me that line's going to go even further down. This line could possibly be Green Bay only -3 and even 2.5 at game time. And we don't want to see that 2.5 because everybody out there knows the 88% rule.
And speaking of having juice, that's my professional handicapper here, Mr. Harry, the Greek Mr. 88%, 89%, going up to 90% as we speak. If you got a question for him, 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. Want to go out to Coach Arians today in his comments, basically asked about looking ahead to the Super Bowl. He basically says, we don't play that game this week. We play the Packers in the NFC Championship game. If we start thinking about the Super Bowl, then you're going to get your ass beat, and you're also going to be playing you're going to be packing your bags on Monday. So succinctly, it basically sounds like Bruce Arians is not looking ahead. He's going to have his team ready to go. In your opinion, do you think this team will be focused and locked in, much like they were in the Washington football team game and versus the Saints?
Well, they better not bring that game they brought to Washington, Peter. Let's be really straight about that. This is not the Washington football team. These are the Green Bay Packers, okay? Best record in the NFC. Arguably the best team in the NFC right now. Best quarterback, not the best running game, even though they've rushed for more yardage. They have a plethora of wide receivers and a great tight end that really no one's talking about. This tight end for the Green Bay Packers is catching passes and mowing people over. Tampa better bring a defense in this game. They better not have a replica of what they had back in Washington because it'll be an early week. If they bring that same game that they played against the Saints, this is going to be a very tight ball game, and Tampa very possibly could either cover or win this game.
Now, in the first matchup, I was looking at this. The Bucs actually had 5 sacks. They got lots of pressure on Aaron Rodgers, forced him into 2 turnovers, and that was without a Vita Vea. Are you still feeling like the Bucs may hold him off, or do you think he'll play some limited snaps? I know you're not a doctor, but you probably stayed at a Holiday Inn Express one time or two.
Or a Motel 6 where we're going to leave that lie down for you, baby. I'm glad you brought up that previous game because that was one of the games I actually broke down again. There were some mistakes that Green Bay made in that game here in Tampa when Tampa handed it to them when they went down 10-0. And the biggest adjustment that they made is they never left their tackles have man coverage, not man coverage, be left an island to try to block these defensive ends and some of these fast linebackers. That is the one key thing. That loss in Tampa taught Green Bay something because that offensive line started really protecting a lot more. And even without Bakhtiari, they're not sniffing Aaron Rodgers. And there's a reason for it because this coaching staff knows how to do really good pass protection. They run a lot of misdirection plays as well because you got Rodgers always moving out of the pocket. You know, they try to run some formulation of an RPO, but not really all that much. So you never really know when they're running the football. Or you never really know when they're going to pass the football, albeit 40+% on first down, they're running the ball. And that's either with a running back or a quarterback. And going back to Vita Vea, what you were saying, I have my reservations about it. Yes, he's a definite dominant player. But when you're 350+ pounds, okay, and you're asking the guy to come back and play in 24-degree weather in an NFC championship game to go to a Super Bowl, I don't know how effective you're going to be. I know that's going to be an unpopular opinion, but let's be realistic here. He's not in football shape. He can be in perfect shape, but there's a difference in football shape. And if they try to run him in first down, what do you think Aaron Rodgers and the coaching staff's going to do? They're going to go to the 2-minute offense because they're not going to want to get him off the football field.
That's a good point because you want to substitute, and if you can't substitute him out, that may be necessarily a bad thing. Let's go back out to the webheads here, read some comments. Tampa Bay will win being more physical. That is their strength. Do you agree with that? Do you feel like Tampa Bay is a more physical team than the Green Bay Packers?
No.
Okay.
I do not believe that's the case. I think they're both extremely physical teams. Listen, Buck fans, this is the reality. If you don't get to Aaron Rodgers, you are not winning this football game. You didn't get to Drew Brees. You hurried him 8 times. Only 5 of them went on the stat sheet. You did not put this guy on the carpet with the ball in his hands. You cannot do this with Aaron Rodgers, but you have to pick a poison. And the poison is, it's really simple. If you rush him and you blitz him all the time, he's going to burn you. Just like any other good quarterback in the National Football League. And Tampa wholeheartedly loves to blitz the quarterback. So with that being said, how do you get to him? Do you apply the pressure like you did against Drew Brees? Or is there going to be a total meltdown? Because I assure you, Green Bay, they're a very, very smart football team. They know exactly how to protect their quarterback, especially without Bakhtiari in there. They're not going to allow someone to try to get in there 24/7. I would love to see it happen, but this is reality. I'm only telling you what I see when I'm breaking down this tape. I'm really worried in this game. Unless Tampa can create and generate at least 2 turnovers in this game, it's going to be very difficult for them to win. On the flip side, that's the same thing for Green Bay. Remember, Green Bay's defense is not as good as Tampa's, and they have to contain all those weapons that Tampa has. But if Brady plays a mistake-free game and they keep him upright and run the football, they should be able to beat Green Bay. But which Tampa team are we going to get? Are we going to get the one that's 32nd in the league in rushing attempts on first down, or are we going to get the one that's been running 30+% on first down in the last 3 games? That's going to be the key in this game. There are 2 other matchups. I don't really want to get into it because I don't want to kind of speak out of both sides of my mouth, and I really have to break it down again, and I really haven't made a decision which way my money is going to go into this game. And I will definitely let everybody know this absolute pick that I'm going to make is going to be on Friday. I'm leaning towards Tampa because of the points that they're going to be receiving. I'm not 100% sure on exactly which way I'm going to go.
Okay. All right. There you go. So with that being said, Davante Adams, everybody talks about him, 18 touchdown passes this year, phenomenal wide receiver. I mean, one of the top wide receivers, if not the top wide receiver in the league, besides Mike Evans. How do you like that matchup against that Bucs back end, namely possibly a Sean Murphy-Bunting or Carlton Davis?
You know what? They're going to play really well on him. And if you try to play man up on him, you're in trouble. This isn't the slant king from the New Orleans Saints where they can get up and just go ahead and play bump and run and try to disrupt the timing. The difference between Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers has a set of wheels, and he's even more dangerous when he's on the run. So, they may have to play a lot of zone and blitz a lot less. And remember one thing, Davante Adams had Jalen Ramsey on him. They still targeted him 10 times in that game. Okay. And these corners for Tampa, albeit they're young and they're very, very good, they're not Jalen Ramsey. Let's be real. Okay. They're going to have to do a good job containing them, but there's other weapons that they have. So if you double on one, you're leaving someone wide open. But for the flip side, Green Bay is the same way. They have to worry about all the weapons the Bucs have. It's going to be really vital, especially on the Buccaneers side, to make sure that AB is in this game. If he doesn't have a knee injury and there's no swelling, he better be out there suited up and ready to go. Not like LaShawn McCoy did 2 weeks ago, because he may have injured his toe or whatever the case was. Every player has to play.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And Antonio Brown playing in the cold, to me, I definitely think he'll be able to do it. He's done it in Pittsburgh before, and it'll be a big-time matchup. Talk about those other weapons besides an Adams. Who scares you with the Green Bay Packers? Is it a Lazard? Is it a Valdez Scantling? You talked about the tight end already and a Tanyan. Who's the biggest threat there besides a Davante Adams, in your opinion?
Lazard and Tanyan.
Okay.
In that order, Lazard and Tanyan.
Okay.
But Tanyan, you know what? I think they might be able to bottle him up a little bit. I think Tampa's linebackers are going to do a really, really good job at trying to contain him. And they're going to try to take that short part of the field away, because that's where Aaron Rodgers really likes to go. He's not 24/7 looking for the deep bomb unless they're playing press coverage and he sees it, right around midfield. They're really known for it. They do throw a lot of deep passes when they get to midfield and they see the blitzes coming. That's why I'm worried about in this game. You kind of squeezed it out of me, because that's one characteristic that Tampa's defense cannot get out of. They love to blitz when they get around midfield.
Yeah, they do. And that's what you kind of worry about. If you blitz, you leave one-on-one coverage. And if you don't get to Aaron Rodgers, he will definitely pick you apart. He can make every throw. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback, no doubt about it.
Yeah, because that's when he's looking for that deep pass, Peter.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not there, when the blitz is coming through, there's always that one lane. And then all of a sudden, Rodgers is gone for 10 or 15 yards, just taking off running the ball. Now we're moving the chains. Now you have the defense completely confused on what they're going to do. They're constantly playing on their heels. But if they play everything in front of them and they play that bend style of defense that I cannot stand, but this is the perfect defense to do it in this particular game. If you play that bend, but don't break, like the LA Rams did years ago, they probably invented it, or even the Dallas Cowboys did.
Right.
But once you get to the 20, that field kind of shortens up a little bit. And you know what? A lot of mistakes can happen from that point. So I do see a lot of yards being, gained in this game. I just really hope they just don't try to go after them too much. You want to create pressure, and you're going to have to get them down on the ground. And Tampa's going to need a minimum of 2 turnovers. And hopefully, with those turnovers, like all defenders they like to get the 6 out of it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you're exactly right. And of course, Jamel Dean had an interception to the house. And then, of course, there was another interception, one of Aaron Rodgers' worst games of his career. So already in the back of his mind, that he definitely wants to make up for that. Speaking about Tampa Bay's offense, they've definitely had some troubles when they get into the red zone. Could you see that improving? Is the Green Bay Packer red zone defense that good?
No.
No. Okay.
No. And just flat out telling you they're not that good. Defensively, they're mediocre at best. Okay. They do a really good job at stopping the run at some point, but I've seen some games where they've just gotten absolutely torched, but everybody's gotten torched by the running back from Minnesota. I keep forgetting his name.
AJ Dillon.
No, from the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook can make a lot of defenses look bad.
Sure.
Okay. And, as far as I'm concerned, I honestly think that Green Bay, which they do a masterful job at blitzing when they do, because they send it from multiple different directions. They give a lot of different looks, but this is Tom Brady under center. You're not going to fool him very, very, very often. So just look for a lot of quick releases, a lot of throw into the flats. Green Bay plays the very similar style of defense when they want to keep everything in front of them, and they don't like to get burned deep either. I think Green Bay's defense has a lot more to worry about than Tampa's defense does. But there are some certain matches with Tampa's defense that I'm not really liking the favorable matchups against.
It makes lots of sense. We're on my professional handicapper, Mr. Harry, the Greek Mister, 88%, 89%, going up to 90% as we speak. Let's go out to the webheads. Tampa Bay. Okay, I read that one. Sorry, keep on reading it. Our Washington D was because Washington's quarterback would scramble, put a whole different challenge with a more mobile quarterback. And you mentioned Aaron Rodgers. He loves to scale the pocket. He also loves to get outside of the pocket. And he also can make things happen. Like he said, he's like an older Patrick Mahomes that can still make those Mahomes throws, if you will. Let's go out to Sean. Packers play action pass is amazing. Bucs better not go to sleep on that. UCAN says Aaron Rodgers benches 250. UCAN says, can we talk about the Saints? Why are we talking about the Saints?
Sure. Hang on. Can we talk about the Saints for a minute?
Yeah, let's talk about the Saints. Go for it.
They're sitting at home.
On their couch.
On the couch.
Yes.
Watching a game. And Drew Brees is going, should I come back for another year? Go home, Saint fans. It's over.
Yeah. We appreciate it. We appreciate the views. You can, son of Israel or son of Sam. Somebody called him son of Sam, so I thought that was pretty funny. I mean,
I got son of something, but it ain't son of Sam. I'm kidding. You troll me, I'm going to troll you back.
Well, that's what we do here. It's all love. It's all, it's like a family, a dysfunctional family at times, but a family no less. VV is who the victim of volume of Vita Vea Harry. Okay, so yeah, the VV is the victim of volume. Okay. Bucs time 12. All the things Harry mentioned we have to do will be achieved if we are more physical than them. And then UCAN says Brett Favre. And Eric says, when you think Rodgers is taking off to run, he loves to sidearm throw it right at the line of scrimmage, which worries me because of our defense and being undisciplined at times.
They're not undisciplined. I keep hearing people say this. They're not an undisciplined defense. They're an aggressive defense, just like Sean Murphy Bunting. Please, people, get this out of your vocabulary. This is not an undisciplined defense. You don't have the number one ranked defense in running, for rushing against you by accident, albeit not most teams come into game plan for it. The reason why you're seeing a lot of mistakes is because people get it too aggressive. So do you want Sean Murphy Bunting not to be aggressive? Guess what? He doesn't have back-to-back games with picks. if he's just sitting in his lane. If he doesn't jump the route, he's not getting that pick. So which one do you want? Do you want the non-aggressive player or do you want the aggressive player? I'm going to take option 2 because as the weeks go on, this secondary is going to get better. Remember, folks, this secondary is one of the youngest in football, and they're pretty damn good.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. They are. Let's go on to Nate Garcia. It's definitely going to be a shootout. Saints defense is way more dangerous than the Packers defense, so I'm excited to see our offense clicking like the past few weeks again. It's going to be who gets in rhythm first. Jay Walsh says, that's a good comment. Who gets in rhythm first? Your money on at this point, is it on the Bucs coming out and having a fast start because of all the talk of cold weather and this and that and the other thing? Or is it the Packers, and can the Bucs afford the Packers to get off to a fast start at Lambeau Field?
You know what? That's a great question. I'm going to give you a very political answer to it. 99% of the time, the visiting team always comes in with the mo. They have something to prove. In this game, they better not just try to come out and throw the ball all over the place because Green Bay is going to be waiting for it. You want to fool Green Bay? You better run the football. I don't care if you go 3 and out. You got to run the football. So who's going to play more inspired? The team that runs the football. If the team comes out and runs the football and establishes the run, that sneaks the corners up, and if it doesn't, they're constantly looking into the backfield, and Tampa Bay could definitely have an advantage on it because they have many more weapons than Green Bay does. Now, if Green Bay does it to Tampa, then Green Bay is going to have it. Who do I have my money on? The road team. The road team generally comes out with a little more momentum because they feel like they have something to prove.
And, of course, you also want to take the crowd out of it, but there's somewhat of a crowd. You could hear it last week versus the Rams, but that's really not going to be a factor, right?
No, there's not going to be enough players. What, 10,000 people? I mean, we can be in a room in our living room with 10 people and make more noise than that.
That's very true. All right, Dave.
My wife is watching the game with us, as you know, Peter.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There you go. Tampa Bay isn't winning in Green Bay in the winter. This is a real team, not some soft dome team with an old washed-up quarterback. You know, again, you guys forget that they came down to here and basically got their asses busted 38-10. So, you know.
Yeah, but Peter, it wasn't cold. Oh my God. Who cares how cold it is? It's going to be 28 degrees, guys.
Right.
Snow showers. Don't you think both teams have to play in that?
Of course they do, but for some reason they think, well, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, they're going to be more physical at the point of attack than the Buccaneers. It's like, okay, did you watch the game? That was not some soft-ass team that the Bucs played, and the Bucs are not soft. So 34-17, Jay Walsh. I want you to come back when they do lose. You can, son of Israel, leave my Saints alone. Well, I'll leave them alone. Everybody will leave them alone. They're done. There's footage on YouTube of Ryan Jensen and our O-line mauling Saints players. Devin White and others on defense need to press and hit the wide receivers. The front four with Vita need to shut things down. Did you like that attitude by the offensive line? The offensive line has really turned it around the last half of this season, and that's been the big-time difference. Yeah. In this matchup, Jadarius Smith, Preston Smith, Kenny Clark, how do these two lines match up together?
Tampa's defensive line can get pressure on a quarterback, I don't care what anybody says, without having the blitz. That's why I keep preaching. Why are they blitzing so much? Then you're leaving a lot of lanes open. On the other hand, that's the only way Green Bay can get pressure generally is by blitzing by blitzing the offenses. Tampa's done an extraordinary job. They've added a lot more protection the past 3 or 4 weeks, especially the past couple of weeks, keeping Brady upright. And that's where the matchup favors the Buccaneers. They know they have to keep Tom Brady up. They are correct. New Orleans defense is better against versus Green Bay because they're a lot better against the run, and they can also create a little bit more pressure with the edge rushers. The linebackers for Green Bay are pretty damn good, though. But their front four, little soft.
Little soft, okay.
What I'm seeing, yes. They have to create pressure by bringing the safety up into the box, snapping a corner off the slot, and having them come over the top, because they do disguise it very well. They do play a very, very good scheme.
Do you feel like this offensive line could dominate this game versus Green Bay's suspect defense, especially up front?
Without question.
Okay.
That is one aspect of the game that I definitely give an edge over Green Bay. Is Tampa's offensive line has done an extraordinary job at protecting Tom Brady. And my hat is off to the coaching staff, whoever coaches the offensive line, because they have added a lot of wrinkles into this where they're keeping the tight end in the back end. Gronkowski has been an absolute animal. If you don't re-sign him just for his blocking skills, forget about his patch catching abilities and the touchdowns and the playmakers that he's making. He is really one of the biggest reasons why Brady has been sitting upright this year. Actually, the past 3 games.
He really is. And we watched that breakdown from Brian Baldinger of the NFL Network, and Gronk was looking like a left tackle out there the way he was blocking. So you're exactly right. He's making 10
on both sides.
Right. On both sides of the ball.
Tackle. We're seeing wide receivers getting in there and chip blocking. We're seeing the running backs getting up there and chip blocking. You're seeing the tight ends doing it. And it's not every other or fourth or fifth, series. I'm talking literally every single play, whether they're running the ball or they're passing the ball. That's how they're disguising it, because they're keeping a tight end in and they're even pushing the pile for running, whether they're chipping them and he's trying to float around the backside of the linebackers to get open to go ahead and catch a pass. Man, I'm telling you, the offensive philosophy, especially for the line, has completely changed in the past month and a half for Tampa.
You like that attitude of the line? You have Donovan Smith playing consistently. He's playing out of his mind. You have Ali Marpet, Ryan Jensen.
Say that again about Donovan Smith. For all the haters that are out there right now, he's one of the top-ranked left tackles in football.
Yes.
This is the same guy that everybody wanted to run out of town 5 weeks ago. He is one of the top-ranked left tackles in football. What happened? They gave him a little bit of protection. That's it. They give him a little bit of assistance, just like they give any other elite left tackle in the game.
And I think he knows what's in store, and he knows what's in front of him at this point. And it's that Brady effect. But on top of it, you have Ryan Jensen with his attitude last week, just basically pushing guys to the ground, playing to the whistle, having that physicality. And I feel like that kind of wore off on rookie Aaron Stenny, who you barely heard anything from. You barely heard anything from Tristan Wirfs all year long. So that right side of the line, it's so young, but it's so talented, right?
Besides the fact that you mentioned Tristan Wirfs, he's been a totally different player until he got posterized by Khalil Mack in that one game.
Yeah.
Something clicked with him. And when you had Kappa go down on the right, I think Kappa's the right guard, correct?
Correct. Yes.
They've had really good gameplay out of there, even with the backups coming in, the people that they're signing. It just seems like this team is really starting to click. Let me tell you something, Peter. There is not one offensive lineman in football. If you asked, would they rather pass protect or run block? I don't think any of them would ever say I'd rather pass protect.
Yeah.
When you run block, you are pushing a pile forward. So when you're pushing someone forward, you're actually kicking someone's what. And you all automatically, it becomes synergistic. It's like, you can't move me. So when you do pass the ball, the defense is already on their heels going, okay, my God, here comes the run. That's why it's imperative they run. I keep going back to that, and I'm sorry, but that's a narrative that I just can't give up, because this team is now starting to run the football like they're supposed to, and championship ball clubs do that. If you can make it 50-50, especially in cold weather, you got a really good chance of winning the football game.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why they're going to win the game on Sunday, and they're going to continue to win the game when it's Super Bowl, because they have balance to their offense. And when you have balance to your offense, Tom Brady becomes more dangerous because of the pass play action. Want to read this comment from Nate. I think it's a good one. Also, with us not having to worry about the front four pass rush like we had to in the past 2 games against Washington and the Saints, we can utilize Gronk more in the pass game, which would open up more weapons. Agree with that? Instead of him being an inline blocker and worrying about the edges or blocking, and this defensive line of the Packers is not that good. Could you see Gronk having a big game, getting out there in the middle of the field, having some big plays down the field, down that seam?
You know what? That'll open up anyway. Okay, because if Green Bay is used to seeing him in the backfield constantly blocking, eventually they're going to come up to him and he's going to chip him and he's going to try to sneak around. Would I like to see him more in passing routes? No, I don't want. I am not a person that likes to fix something when it's not broken. Right now, it seems to be working. He is arguably the most valuable player when it comes to blocking and assisting both guards and both tackles right now. So why would you want to do that? I mean, your whole objective is to keep Tom Brady clean, correct?
Yeah, correct.
So don't fix it. You have Cameron Brate. You have another tight end. Everybody's going to get their opportunity.
All right, let's go back out to Nate here. He says more play action. Jay Walsh says Tampa Bay players, they are not. Tampa Bay players is not. This is him. They are not. Should not be. Is not. Acclimatized to the weather. I've seen this before as a Dolphins fan. If Tampa Bay wins, they will need about 150 yards on the ground. Agree?
Yes.
Okay.
Up to 150 yards. If they get more than 90 yards, they're going to have success in this game. If you're running the ball 150 yards, there's no reason whatsoever to have to throw for 300. Just look what happened in the past game against the New Orleans Saints. He didn't pass for 200 yards and they dominated him. I wouldn't say dominate, but it was a relatively close game. But it got away from New Orleans in the fourth quarter because they couldn't stop the running game. And they got the turnovers.
Yeah, you're exactly right. All right, let's go out to Sean McKibben. Brady will be watching the Super Bowl on TV with the rest of us. And this is what I think about that. How about that? E-Rock says, leave Gronk in to block and use break. JP says, laugh out loud, how misinformed. Look at PFF stats. Packers have a better pass rush than either of those teams. Really? They do?
No, they don't, actually. I mean, I follow the NFC North very, very well. I mean, Sean, I'm sure, is a huge Green Bay fan, obviously. And he probably wouldn't even say that either. He probably knows that they have to blitz a lot to get pressure on the quarterback. With that being said, you can't compare the two defenses, especially on the line. I mean, look what's happened this entire year. They're a good defense, but it's not as good as the front four of Tampa. I mean, let's be real there.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. So that's what JP says there. Eric Scott says, is Kappa out for the playoffs? Looks like he is. He's on the IR. JP says Smith, or he must be a Packer fan. Smith, Gray, and Clark. Okay.
Okay.
Gronkowski will be the key to victory. Nate says, I can't agree. I can't agree with Harry. Brady has been playing clutch right now, but that's why we're going to catch them off guard with Gronk. He'll be blocking them, and then boom, Gronk for a big pass gain. And JP says, we have the 26th blitz rate. I don't think we're talking about blitz rates, sir. We're talking about overall talent and getting to the quarterback. And the Bucs are one of the top teams in the NFL with sacks and quarterback pressures. Look that up.
If he's referring to the amount of times the Tampa Bay Buccaneers blitz, they're not 26, sir.
No, they're definitely not.
3 or top 4 in the National Football League for the amount of times that they blitz. If you're referring to Green Bay, possibly.
And here's JP again. But you have no clue what you're saying. Clearly just fans. I get it, cheer, but don't misinform your fans. I don't know who the hell are you, but, here's what I think about that. I mean, who are you? I mean, who's JP? Who is that?
JP, I'd like to talk to you directly.
I mean, obviously, 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. E-Rock says, Sue is in Aaron's head. Big game from Sue. You're absolutely right about that. And you watched the film. What did Sue do in that first matchup versus the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers?
He had a really good game, but he's had a lot of good games against Aaron Rodgers. Oh, my God, look at him. He looked like Ndamukong Suh going to tackle Aaron Rodgers. See him behind me?
I'm telling you, your cats are just very active. They're very active, like Todd Bowles is active when they blitz.
Tell me about it. No, as far as Ndamukong Suh, I mean, you never know where the pressure is going to be coming from. I mean, they're going to need him, to try to, slow down, especially the running attack. I'm not going to see too much out of Ndamukong Suh trying to create too much pressure on Aaron Rodgers. They do a really good job at protecting Aaron Rodgers. They do struggle a little bit off the edges, but generally not much up the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's go to Xavier here. He says, laugh out loud, this JP is crazy. Xavier again, probably a troll, probably is. Sean McKibben, Bucs D is by far better. It will come down to which quarterback gets rattled first in mistake-free football. And to me, that favors Tom Brady over an Aaron Rodgers.
Sean McKibben, you can tell, is a Green Bay fan, but you want to know something? He knows football. Because when you're a fan of a particular team and you're openly admitting that the opposing team's defensive line is arguably better, hey, he's right. It is the truth. So I'm giving you a non-biased opinion. I have no affiliations other than being on the Buck Report. I am a handicapper. I can only handicap and give you an honest opinion of what I see.
Makes sense. And that's why we have you on here, Harry the Greek, our professional handicapper. Let's go out to Brian Pearson. He's still hurt in his feelings. How is that doing, buddy? You good? You okay? I hope
Right. Did you have someone write this for you because it's actually spelled correctly?
Try to make your own Super Bowl. See if you can do that. Has never been done before, but it won't happen this year because, Brian, you are Miss Cleo. I forgot.
Who?
Let's see. Yes, the psychic right there. Bucs time 12. Donovan being the best version of himself. Brady effect. Eric Scott says, just me, or are there way more trolls since we made the playoffs? Well, there are. There's a lot of hurt fans. They thought, I had a guy on here tell me they're going to be 10-6. They're not going to make the playoffs. Same old Bucs. You're wrong. 11-5 made the playoffs. Never shows up again. Shows up sometime. You guys are something else. But we love trolls. I'll just do this to you.
I wish you had the one sound effect that Mr. Rick Hughes has.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know what that sound effect in the background was. Was there?
That's turbo running into the curtains.
That's what it is? Okay. So, yeah, absolutely. Let's go on to Nate. We have to put the pressure on Rodgers to force those throws. I'm excited to see what we draw up to trick the Packers. Definitely going to be a great game. Defensively, what did you see in that first game that gave Aaron Rodgers such difficulty? Was it the 5 sacks, the pressure? What was it? Because there were 5 sacks in that game. They got after him. They made him, and they forced him into some bad throws. Of course, the pick 6 from Jamel Dean, taking it all the way to the house. This was one of the worst games in Aaron Rodgers' career. What did you see on tape that the Bucs did in that first matchup?
It's really simple. They got to him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what made the Green Bay Packers better. Let me look into this camera and talk to everybody who's watching. This is not the same Green Bay team that you faced 8 or 10 weeks ago. Let's get that straight. That game taught Green Bay's coaching staff exactly how to protect Aaron Rodgers, and they have done a hell of a job doing that. It is going to be a dogfight for Tampa to get pressure on Aaron Rodgers in this game. Trust me on that. They are giving the same type of help that Tampa has done the past 4 weeks with Gronkowski. That protection's coming from multiple different directions. Believe me when I tell you, it's not going to be that same exact game. If it is, Green Bay had a mental fart, whatever the hell it is that I would call it, and they had a complete breakdown. But I don't see that happening in this game. I'm not saying Green Bay is going to beat them. Please don't misconstrue what I'm saying. But it's not going to be a cakewalk like you've seen in that game here in Tampa. Nobody has gotten to Aaron Rodgers the same way Tampa did earlier in that year. And since that's happened, I've seen a totally different offensive game plan. I've seen the way they actually started running the ball a lot more since that's happened. How about that one for a stat?
You're absolutely right. Let's see here. Bruce Arians being a better coach, the Brady effect. Nate says, we have to put pressure on Rodgers to force those throws. I'm excited to see what we draw up. Okay, so I like that comment. Let's go out to Brian. And you guys are crazy if you think your team is going to win the Super Bowl. Not happening. And Brian, we were crazy to think that the Bucs would actually beat the Washington football team. And Brian, we were crazy to think that your big bad Saints, who beat the Bucs during the regular season, which you guys keep on going back to because you guys are the regular season Peyton Mannings of the NFL. The only problem with that is when you get to the postseason, I'm talking about early Peyton Manning, not later. Early Peyton Manning days, you choke. So choke on that, okay? Let's see here. I ain't no troll. I could tell you I just want to see you guys down in flames just like every other team every year. And, for you to wish upon...
Weren't you supposed to go on Rick Hughes's show, What's Cooking in the South?
And he didn't.
He let you go on the show. He let you speak your piece, Brian. You came on there. Everybody respected the fact that you were going to do that, but you didn't do it. And you made a promise that you were going to do it. So do me a favor. Cut the comments.
Yeah.
Because it's almost, now it's borderline being annoying. If you want to comment, that's fine. Otherwise, why don't you call on the show? I'll be glad to go ahead and go to the back room and let Peter have at you for a few minutes.
You can, son of Israel. Rodgers having nightmares about Sue already. E-Rock says the blitz. Xavier says the leadership effect that Brady brings has been amazing and infectious, as you can hear from all the Bucs players. Brian says again, at least you said something right about the Green Bay Packers. They're not the same team. Their defense is better. Their quarterback's more better. Their offense is more better. They've been watching tape. More better. They're more better than the Bucs. That's what I got out of that. More better.
I don't know. seriously, brother, you are hilarious. I really am glad that you're watching the show. Don't take anything that I'm saying serious. It's all in fun, and I get it.
Sure.
But seriously, man, come up with something intelligent. If you're gonna just make comments about they're more better or you ain't gonna do something, bring some substance, bring some facts. How about that? Some facts. Why? Why? Because Drew Brees isn't in there?
Oh,
Do me a favor, my little Cajun boy. Just relax.
yeah, just relax.
Aaron Rodgers says, relax.
Some gumbo, maybe some Popeyes chicken with some red beans and rice.
Oh, he's calling in.
Oh, here we go. All right. Welcome to the Evolution. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
JP from Milwaukee.
JP. What's up, JP?
I'm sorry, what was it?
I said, what's up, JP? Welcome to the Evolution.
How are you doing, guys?
I'm doing fine, buddy. How are you doing?
I would join. I just needed a minute. I had to get everyone to bed, get some own space for myself. I mostly just came. I'm not here to talk crap. I'm here I was just seeing, and I wanted to see what you guys had to say. Obviously, yes, I am a Packer fan. I'm not going to deny that. But I follow sports in general. I mean, I played from high school to college. I still coach now. I just wanted to see what you had to say. And the few things I saw right away, I heard, were just incorrect. Like, I'm a big analytics guy. I do follow Pro Football Focus. I have a subscription. So a couple of things right off the bat you said was just completely wrong. You talk about blitz. We don't ever blitz it. We blitz. We never blitz. We have.
I never said you did blitz.
In general,
I seen the stat of
Harry the Greek or whatever his name. He's the one who said that.
Yeah, he's my professional handicapper. First of all, that's a professional.
I want to see where I was wrong at, because I didn't say they blitz more than anybody in football. If I did, that's a mistake. I said Tampa does.
No, you said we blitz, and that was the way we were going to create pressure.
No. Tampa Bay is the one.
No, I know. I promise you. I know. I replayed it back before I said it.
Okay, go ahead.
You're saying we don't. Yeah, we don't. Also, if you look at pressures, Gary's right now rated in the 90s the last 2 games. He rated in the 80s this last game, which is 3 of the highest rates. Our front 4 pressure, I mean, we gave the highest pressure rate of the whole entire season to the Los Angeles Rams, and they were missing Whitworth most of the end of the season, and then we still, with him back, created more. I get you guys are creating and trying to generate waves, but it's just this week 6 game matters as much as the week when you lost, what was it, 38-3 to the Saints, and then you just beat them last week. Like, we haven't lost another game by more than 6 points this entire season. We've only lost 3. Everything's in our favor.
Sure it is. Everything is in your favor. Of course it is. I mean, you've got home field advantage. You've got the weather. You've got supposedly a better quarterback than Tom Brady. I mean, that will be the next thing that you would say. You would say Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than Tom Brady. You would be one of those guys that says, well, championships don't matter. It's statistics that matter. Would that be you?
Matter.
Oh, okay. So you're not going to say that Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than Tom Brady?
Yes, but Tom Brady has a better career. You're looking for a short answer. You're looking for a clip. I'm going to give you that. Tom Brady has had a much better career.
He's a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers. Period.
I wouldn't have loved. You know what? I take that back. He's not. He just isn't. But at that point, I would love to have seen what Aaron Rodgers would have done with Bill Belichick for the last 15 years.
Oh, so now we're going to play the system game. So we had a quarterback that went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and put up the second biggest outcome of his career in a new system without preseason, without training camp, without those 400 reps, and you're still saying that it is all about the system. That's what you're saying, JP?
No, I don't say it's all about the system. As a matter of fact, if Tom had his way and his druthers, he would get Arian's system out of there, and you'd run more motions like modern day offenses do.
He had 40 touchdowns in a system that supposedly is archaic. That's what I don't get. Like, you guys thought that he was just going to have this great start, but what you didn't anticipate is the fact, first, it's a new offense, which is complicated. Second, you missed all those 400 reps in the offseason. And third, now you see the substance of this offense right now. He still had 40 touchdowns, and he's 43 years old. Your team drafted Jordan Love because that's how much they thought about Aaron Rodgers being done. Not saying he's finished, not by any means. He's most likely the MVP of the league. But I best remember, and I know you're discounting it, the game he had versus the Buccaneers. Would you not say that was one of the worst games of his career?
Well, of course, he's only had 2 pick sixes in his entire career.
Okay.
He had one from there.
Okay.
Listen, I'm not going to take anything away from Aaron Rodgers, and I really appreciate you calling up because I do have a couple of questions for you. Is it okay, Peter? Can I ask them?
Sure. Go ahead.
Being I'm a Chicago native, I just want to get that out of the way. I'm an NFC North guy, and I do know quite a bit about the Packers. And if I misspoke, you misunderstood, or I didn't come out correctly. I want to know one thing. What is the media saying, what they have to protect, and what would you say their level of concern is with Tampa Bay going into Green Bay and beating them?
You mean as a media or you mean as fans?
No. The media, you know what? Yeah, a combination of both, the media and the fans, because we're not privy to the media down here in Florida.
Honestly, we just feel Rodgers is playing rarefied air. I mean, this was the number one defense in by Pro Football Focus again, but also by yards and by scoring. And we put up almost 500 yards. And everyone was like, oh, Aaron Donald only played 54%. First of all, Aaron Donald played. Our All-Pro and our line didn't, and David Bakhtiari. So you at least got something. And second of all, everyone else played, including Ramsey, and we just did what we wanted. As a matter of fact, we had Aaron miss through one where he should have had another touchdown, and it was our drop zone should have had another touchdown. So.
Well, if you also notice in the beginning part of the conversation, if you picked up on it, I was throwing Devontae Adams serious props because Jalen Ramsey was on him. They did target him 10 times. Okay. That's how much I think of Devontae Adams.
And I appreciate that. Like I said, I came in right when you're talking about the pass rush situation because that is completely. It just if you go, you have to look at the analytics part of it. I get it. It's more of not an eye test thing. But when it comes to that, it's gotten substantially better. I mean, in general, I could get into any and all of this. I do this stuff all the time. I usually call in my local guys, but I wanted to come along and see what Tampa Bay had to say. I could do this all day. I know a lot about your own team. As a matter of fact, when you're talking about executive of the year, I would not. You get zero credit, by the way, for this one. Bothered me. You get a lot of credit. He did a great job drafting, by the way. I really like his draft. Getting where he got with your tackle and Winfield Jr. Great picks. Really not smart comment is when you're giving him any credit at all for Gronk. Gronk came strictly because of Brady. The Patriots strictly gave him his release or trade, I should say. He got his trade because what's the point? It's either you get nothing for him or you get something for him.
So wait a minute. Hold on. Whoa. Jason Light doesn't get any credit for what did he trade again for Rob Gronkowski and how productive has supposedly Gronkowski, who all we heard at the beginning of the season, well, he can't stay healthy for 16 games. He stayed healthy for 16 games. Hold on. No. He stayed healthy for 16 games, highly productive. And then on top of it, he's a great end-line blocker. He's helped the offensive line. How does Jason Light not get credit for that, for what he traded? Do you understand what he traded for Gronk?
That's what I'm getting at. You're not listening. I'm sorry. You need to just. I just tried to explain it quickly there, but just listen. Let me listen the whole point through. The reason he doesn't get credit is because he literally, the alternative was him just staying retired. Like he just said, trade for me, get something for me, or get nothing for me. That was the Patriots' alternative. He wasn't going to any. There was no market. There was a void in it. It was literally the market was one team. It was Tampa or State.
It doesn't matter what they gave up for him. They got a highly productive player.
No, yeah. But I mean, you could have made that trade. I could have made that trade.
But you didn't make the trade. You're not a general manager. If you were so smart, you would have made the trade already, JP.
My point isn't, obviously, that isn't the case for any of us. Come on.
But that's what you just said. Anybody can make the trade. Oh, you can make the trade. I can make the trade. You can make the trade. No, you couldn't make the trade. Jason Light made the trade. Jason Light is the GM of the year because of the trades he made. GM of the last couple of years of the moves that he made because this team is a Super Bowl contender. And say whatever you want to about the guys drafting, but Tristan Wirfs, Antoine Winfield, Tyler Johnson.
I feel those are good picks.
Okay, great. So then what's your no, I'm not listening because you're long-winded. You got to get to it. You got to tell me what's your point.
I already told.
What's the point? What's your point, JP? What's your point? What's your point, sir?
I'm just correcting the things you already.
Don't correct me because you're not correcting me on anything. You're putting words in my mouth. I know what you're doing.
I keep telling you the things that are.
And you can keep on going and you can get the hell out of here.
Ouch.
I can keep on going. Who are you correcting me? Correct that. How about that? Correct me.
Well, I hope I didn't misspeak when I said that. I just said that they blitz, and they do a really good job at disguising blitzes. Very good job at disguising because you never know where they're coming from. The safeties, the corners, the linebackers, but they definitely need help. Tampa's defense is arguably a better front four.
First, the guy comes on the show and says, I'm a Green Bay Packer fan, which is fine. But he's saying, oh, well, you're wrong. Well, no, you're wrong because you didn't know what you were talking about in the first place. We never said anything about Green Bay blitzing. We said about Tampa Bay blitzing. We know about it. Who is this? All right, welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with Harry the Greek.
Hey, this is Eric. What's going on, guys?
What's going on, Eric? How you doing, bud? Welcome to the Evolution.
I'm doing all right. You guys ready for Sunday?
Of course I'm ready. What? Of course I'm ready for Sunday.
Really?
Do I look like I'm ready for Sunday? I'm ready for Sunday right now. After JP saying all the nonsense he just said, I mean, I wasted about 5 minutes of my life that I'm not going to be able to get back again because some jackass came on the show and said, basically, I know what you said. What are you talking about? You have no idea what I'm saying because you're not listening.
He definitely didn't hear me correctly.
At all.
And by the way, for everybody that's out there, what do I think of analytics and statistics? Peter, you want to take over on that one? What have I always said? They mean nothing.
They really, some of them don't really mean nothing. You can make a stat out of anything.
Wait. Sometimes it does mean something. It does.
Like what? Tell me.
What's it mean?
I mean, they're just numbers. I mean,
well, they're just numbers. Okay. So
what does it mean?
So you admitted they're just numbers. What do the numbers represent? Is that what it is?
I mean, it's just a stat. It's just a stat.
Well, there was a stat out there that the Bucs got beat twice by the Saints, and then they weren't supposed to win, and all that. What was that stat about?
Just we lost.
Well, you're killing me here, man. I mean, you're giving me nothing. You're giving me dead air. Come on, let's go. Come on. What do analytics mean?
All right. I mean, you're right, but I mean, sometimes they don't mean nothing.
Okay. Okay. I'm not saying they don't always mean something because you can get some numbers out of that. But, to come on and say, well, somebody's blitzing 26%. I mean,
it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
They even have the right team, man.
Peter, it's irrelevant. They blitz mid of the pack, and I did say that, and I do remember what it was. They're a middle of the pack team when it comes to blitzing to Green Bay.
Yeah.
But let's go back to what I think about analytics or Leo words and statistics. Hold on for a second, Eric. Okay, just give me a second here. I said 6 weeks ago when Tampa was rated number 1 against the rush. I said it numerous times. That's a very skewed statistic. Don't get enamored with that because teams do not game plan to run the football against the Buccaneers. They just don't because Tampa is a pass-first offense. You do remember that, Peter, correct?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay, so what happened when Minnesota came to town? As Rick Hughes would say, well, he only got 102 yards, but the team rushed for $168. That's what I'm talking about. If you game plan against the run against the Bucs, you're going to have some success. I'm not saying they're a bad run defense. They're a top tier run defense, but don't get enamored with statistics that someone's number 1 and whatever. That doesn't mean anything. That's only good for people that play fantasy football. Okay. When you're handicapping games, you look for tendencies and matchups. It's not a science, folks. It isn't. And I don't need analytics to tell me that. I can only handicap versus what I see. And I haven't said this in weeks. That's why I've been a successful handicapper this year. And I've had the best year of my career in professional sports betting in over 30 years because I'm paying more attention to certain details rather than betting with my heart. And nobody has heard me say on this show tonight that Tampa's winning the football game. And I'm not jumping up and down. And I'm giving an objective view to both sides. I'm giving positive and negatives. And that's what I wanted to say.
Okay. Couple questions.
Sure.
Do you think Vita Vea plays on Sunday?
No.
I don't know. I mean, why would you designate him off of the injured reserve list if you didn't think he was going to play?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a great question.
Do you think AB will play on Sunday?
It's another great question. I'm not sure. If it's not structurally damaged, I think there's certainly a possibility for him. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to sit here and act like one. But I definitely think they want both of those players to play. So I would expect both of those players to play on Sunday. And if they don't, then, that's the Bucs organization going at it. I mean,
what was wrong with the way Nachos and McClendon is filled in for him? I understand they're not Vita Vea.
Right.
But let's be real here. These two players have played extremely well for this team.
Mm-hmm.
How much better is this team going to be with Vita Vea? Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
A guy that's going to be playing his first game since the Bear game in the beginning part of the year. This is the NFC Championship, people.
And which means all hands on deck. And if you feel like Vita Vea is going to improve
they better be third down situations, because as I said before in the earlier part of the program, this is the Green Bay Packers. This is arguably one of the best football quarterbacks in the NFL with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And if he comes in the game on first down, he's not getting off the field. They will go to a 2-minute offense. This is a very well-coached team.
They very well may, but I don't think as an organization they're going to put him in harm's way. They obviously have a plan going forward. They know if he's healthy or not. And again, I just keep on going back to it. Why would you designate somebody off of the IR unless you were planning to have a plan and play them? And who knows? Maybe they get ready for the Super Bowl. Bingo, right there. That's a possibility. It's certainly a possibility. So
if you lose, you're done. So they got to factor that in.
That's it. Exactly. Good point.
Well, this team's been on the road.
Making better points than JP did. I couldn't get past the point of, well, I could do this and I could do that. Well, buddy, why haven't you done it?
I was still wanting to know, and he never really answered the question to it. I really wanted to know what the Green Bay media, even though it's this big, you think Tampa's market's small? I mean, this is like Clearwater for Green
Bay. I don't think Tampa's market is small.
34-31 Tampa over Green Bay.
All right, man. I like it, Eric. Let me go ahead and fire those cannons. This agitates me. We got Rick Hughes in the lobby there. We're going to get him on in just a little bit here because he heard your comment. That was funny. This is not the same that we went week 6 or even better. I see Rick in the background there. As long as he doesn't start mooting me, I'm out of here if you guys start doing that crap again. I guess Green Bay is the only one watching. Will you shut up? You were the one doing it out there the other night. Now you sound like JP. Get you both out of here. Wow, all the trolls sitting home with nothing better to do. Hey, I love it. I don't know who's calling. Was it Johnny Dean? Johnny Dean, you troll me. I'm trolling back at you, all right? What do you want to say?
Harry talked about analytics, and whoever brought the analytics thing up.
Yes.
Was that Eric?
Yes, it was Eric, yes.
No, that was the other guy, JP, who brought the analytics up.
JP, yeah. Okay. Not JPP, JP, who could be a general manager in this league.
Analytics are for coaches and for GMs so that they can get numbers on people and see what they're going to do. And analytics in a game is so that they can get a percentage of what works and what doesn't. That's what analytics are for. Fans have twisted this crap all over the place.
Well, I agree with that. And you know what analytics remind me of? Baseball. That reminds me of like the Tampa Bay Rays. Well, this guy had this and this. Like, shut the hell up. Seriously. Like, get out of here. I hate that.
Peter, I got something for Harry, man. Harry,
go for it.
What's up, my brother?
How much impact did Vita Vea have? How much impact did JPP have when he came back last
year? You're obviously not listening. He hasn't played since the Chicago game. He's 350 plus pounds. So before you give me the dissertation, Mr. Johnny Dean, you're a very intelligent man. And I'm telling you, a lot of people, you'll forget more about football than a lot of people will ever learn. But let me repeat it. He's 350 plus pounds. He has not played since the Chicago Bear game. What do you think is going to happen if they try to make him a 3-down lineman?
You realize he was deemed healthy 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, healthy, not game shape. There's a huge difference here.
They've kept him in rehab for 2 weeks. Have you ever been through rehab on a football team?
Yes, I have, with a torn ACL.
Yeah? How was that?
It was difficult.
Okay. They put you through the ringer.
Yeah, it's a good point. And look, I get what Johnny Dean's saying here, because here's JPP coming off of a broken neck in the car accident. He had no football time. At least Vita Vea played some this year, played at a high level. Absolutely. So
listen, I hope if he plays, I hope he plays really well. I just don't know why you would want to experiment when you've had two very serviceable defensive linemen play extraordinary football this year. Argue that point with me, Johnny.
It's not an experiment. He's been poked and prodded and medically checked by the best around over and over and over again. You think they're going to take the chance on that money? No, they're not. And they're not going to use him like they did in game 3. He's not going to be on there every down. He's going to come in rotation.
Yeah.
Just like JPP did. And look how effective that worked.
Agree. I think that's what it comes down to. And I think that's what Harry's trying to say, is that he doesn't think that Vita Vea is going to play. And I don't think he is either. I think they're going to give him some snaps, but I would not be surprised at the impact that he makes in those rotations, because he is
an impact in a running game, Peter.
Oh yeah. But I think he definitely can make impact on the passing game too, because he pushes that penetration and he frees it up. And then on top of it, he's going to command that double and triple team. So those guys from the outside, and I feel like that's the reason why you haven't seen some of the big numbers from a JPP and a Shaq, because of Vita Vea missing. Even though as a team, they have the sacks, you look at those individual players on the outside, because of a Vea missing out of there and not taking up those double and triple teams, which look, McClendon, Nacho, serviceable defensive tackles, but not like a Vea, who's a physical freak, 340, 350 pounds, pushing that pocket with sure will. I think it favors Vea.
I'll never, ever disagree with that comment. Vita Vea is a freak of nature, especially as big as he is.
Mm-hmm.
The point I'm trying to make. Don't fix something if it's not broke. And if you use him in situations, which I believe if he plays, that's exactly how they're going to use him. He will be effective, but don't try to make him a 3-down defensive lineman right off the bat.
Yeah, I don't think he's a 3-down defensive lineman.
Lineman, but when he does come in, he's going to unleash Sue. And you know what Sue is to Aaron Rodgers?
Yep. And I think it goes back to your
worst nightmare.
I think it goes back to Harry's point when he came in. Even though Drew Brees had 3 interceptions, they didn't get enough pressure on him. They're looking at that and they're saying, wait a minute, Vea is a guy that can, definitely bring that pressure and bring that penetration. So we've got to start him. We got to look and start him and see if he's healthy. And I trust this organization. They know what they're doing. They know how, people are saying, well, they should have benched Mike Evans, because he was, dealing with the knee injury. Guy went out for 100 receiving yards. So I'm going to trust that Buccaneer medical staff to know what the hell they're doing when it comes to players. I'm not disagreeing with Harry here. They may play him in limited snaps, but those limited snaps to me are a lot better than a McClendon and a Nacho, just my opinion.
I agree 100% with that.
All right. What else, Johnny Dean?
Definitely a better football player.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely. All right, bud.
No one ever don't misconstrue what I said there. I never said that Nachos and McClendon are better than Vita Vea. Never said that.
No, I know what you're saying. You're saying if it's not fixed, don't broke it. But to me, don't break it. But I think it's right. Yeah, whatever. All right, so let me go ahead.
They've been putting a Band-Aid on that pass rush.
That's been a hell of a Band-Aid, brother. I can tell you that right now.
Well,
a hell of a Band-Aid.
I'll tell you right now, if it can get better with the Vea, I'm all about it. Let me go ahead and give you this right here, right there, because I know every Bucs fan's feeling like that. Let me go ahead and give you that right there. Johnny Dean, thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you, all right?
Later, bud.
Later. All right, let me read these comments. I'm going to get out to Rick Hughes. What's cooking in the South from the cheap seats? Want to read some of these comments from these guys here. Okay, so yeah, they have nothing better to do but to tune in here, but it's cool. You can tune in here. Our defense is way better than Green Bay. Defense wins championships, and so does Tom Brady. Johnny Dean says, thanks, Brian. Every time you say someone's going to beat the Bucs, you end up eating crow, then disappearing because you can't take the shame. Brian, right here. I don't have to worry about that because next year my team is going to get better. Quarterback, he'll be the same way next year. We'll be in the playoffs. We'll see if you're right behind us. What better quarterback? Jameis Winston, Taysom Hill. You're $100 million in cap hell. What are you talking about? Are you on drugs? Tim says, What that more better than Dim Saints, says Brian Pearson. There you go. Tim Xavier, he's laughing right now. I don't even know why I read that at this point. I feel like Ron Burgundy reading some of these comments. Ness says he's making some decent points, but yeah, I'm the biggest Brady fan, but Rodgers is a better quarterback. Yeah, that's where I lost it there, because he's a better quarterback, right? Just like LeBron James is a better basketball player than Michael Jordan, right?
Oh, don't even go there.
Idiots.
We don't have enough time on this segment to debate that.
Yeah, but we've always debated that on this show. People go, well, LeBron James, better basketball player because he plays more position, does more. How many championships, losses? How many championships? How many teams did he have to go to? How many superstars did he have to join up with? How many did Jordan join up? Oh, well, you got Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman and Ron Harper. How many superstars did he join up with? They never can answer. They're always
built team.
Thank you.
Chicago.
Right.
Period.
But you didn't need superstar players. You just needed one great player to make everybody around him better. I'm not saying LeBron can't do that, but why is it always, well, he needs this and he needs this and he needs this and he needs this and he's the greatest player. But if he didn't have that, well, it's because he got beat by Kevin Durant, or it's because he got beat by Kawhi Leonard. You can't have it both ways, idiots. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. But he's not a better winner. Okay. Eric Scott, get him, Pete. Woo! Absolutely. TB12 has the upper hand on all other quarterbacks with his cerebral play. Tim says, Dim Cajun's been known to eat all manners of creatures. Maybe he likes the taste of crow. Maybe he likes the taste of alligator. Who knows? Or snake. Maybe he watches The Water Boy constantly over and over again and tries to talk like Bobby Boucher. And maybe his mother is Kathy Bates. Who knows? He could have a Coach Klein in his closet. I don't even care or know at the point. Coach Klein. I love it. Aaron Rodgers is physically a better quarterback, knowing how to win. Brady is far better than anyone else, hands down. Rodgers has a difficult time with the new system last year. Corey Hall says motion does nothing but show if a defense is in man or zone. Some quarterbacks don't even like motion. Brian says, if you guys win the Super Bowl in your own home city, I will give you congratulations. I'll give you guys props. That will
thank you, Brian.
It will be amazing.
You made my day. Just do me a favor. Honor your commitment to Mr. Rick Hughes, and the cheap seats are cooking in the South. Just honor it.
Right.
Don't do it on this show, on this platform. Go back to Rick's show and please do it, because Rick would love to hear from you. Trust me, I know he would. You and JP.
JP, you and JP could probably have a show together. You could call it Dim Cajuns, okay?
No, you know what? From what I understand, Green Bay, some of the people up there and the people from New Orleans. Sean, I hope you're not listening because you're going to kill me tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, like cousins, aren't you?
No. What's the local sports radio sound like out here or out there? I have no idea. I don't even know what the local sports radio sounds around here. We are on the sports web, the Evolution. That's what Harry wants to know. Eric says, I thought that Brady was only good because of Belichick. Argument was put to bed. Ness says, and if you watch the all 12, Devontae was being his man. We just have a lot of pressure on Rodgers, which sped him up, which is why you do that to basically force the timing. So I'm just saying, while other quarterbacks gamble a lot, it might burn us if the pass rush doesn't get home, which is why you bring in a Vita Vea. JL shouldn't be in a conversation. That would be, I guess, JP. He's run away with JL. Oh, excuse me. He's talking about Jason Light. JL shouldn't be in conversation. He's a runaway with Executive of the Year. Agree with you. Good stuff.
Yeah, but he didn't do anything to deserve it, Peter. Remember that, okay?
No, I mean, he was a guy that, it was the reason why you get Bruce Arians, and then Bruce Arians is the reason why you get Tom Brady. And then, of course, Jason Light is the one that drafts Devin White and Tristan Wirfs and Antoine Winfield and Tyler Johnson. And I get it. He's had his fair share of bad picks with the kicker and this and that and the other thing, but he also traded for JPP and Shaq Barrett. So no, he doesn't deserve any credit at all. It's all Tom Brady and Bruce Arians, and that's it. Not Jason Light. You guys are idiots. You're a friggin' idiot if you think Jason Light doesn't deserve Executive of the Year if this team wins the Super Bowl, which they will. Bill Belichick will get voted
just for the accomplishments that he's made this year already.
Right, exactly. JL is winning it this year. Agree. Are we supposed to apologize for having Brady and Greg? I have no idea. Tell you what, I have no idea.
People, I really am sorry that the Buccaneers
got
got Brady.
ass off. Calm down, Peter. We say three things on this show, especially when somebody says calm down, because I'm not like the typical radio talk show host. Maybe I'm crazy. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. You want to have church service, go there on Sunday and listen to that crap. You want to have national radio, listen to that crap. You want to have somebody talk about girls' boobs and this and that, listen to that crap. But if you want somebody who talks sports about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the rest of the NFL and will tell it like it is, then you're in the right place. The Sports Web, brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts. For all your auto parts needs, it's Advanced Auto Parts. How'd you like that transition? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Eric Scott, and you like me when I'm angry. You need me when I'm angry. Thank you. Anybody got some pepper to go with all this salt? I'm telling you. What are you doing, Rick? I'm going to get you on in a minute. Laugh out loud. Last year, this is this year's draft. This year's draft was great. Absolutely. Last year's draft was great. He hit on a few players, which is better than most. Xavier says, ha, ha, ha. Ness says, wow, Peter is caliente right now. Thank you very much. I'll go ahead and give you that. Corey says, Roger's a diva. We put the wood on his ass and he got folded up like the Tampa Tribune. Ouch. Like that. Woo. That was nasty. Corey Hall, we run a 3-4 anyway. Christopher Cole says he just didn't have a clue what he heard. He's hearing voices. I mean, that's what it comes down to. And sometimes callers hear voices. We all hear voices in our heads. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to do what the voice tells you to do, which means when you call somebody's show and accuse them of saying something they didn't say, look in the mirror and say, I'm a dumbass. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Peter, don't be selfish. None of us can get that 5 minutes back. Yes, absolutely agree. He means for trends, that's all. Bucs time 12, total BS from JP. Brady would have won multiple Super Bowls on the Packers or on the Saints or on the Chiefs or on the Colts or 2000s. He just wins. Thank you. Let the truth set you free. Enough with the nonsense. If he was here, if he was there, if he had a broken leg, if he was peg leg Pete. I don't know why I said Pete. I just included myself in that conversation. Who cares? The guy wins.
Preach on, Peter.
I will. Thank you. Welcome to the Church of the Sports Web, live here on Bucs Report. Don't beat the guy up now. I had to. He asked for it. You know, I'm a Libra. I'm like Eminem. I'm going to chew you up and spit you out. That's what happens when you come on the Sports Web. So when you want to troll me, I'm trolling that ass. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Yeah, he's a winner. He makes it work. That's what he does, Brady. That's it. He's nowhere near the most talented quarterback, so you want to say Rodgers is better. Sure, he's much better on, more elusive. Brian, goodness, should I read this comment? The stats mean if you're good, eventually you'll get in the Hall of Fame. That's what it means. The person that gets good stats will remember that for the rest of their life and won't be in the Hall. Captain Obvious. Unbelievable. Great job there, Brian. Brady's checks at the line, reading defenses. This is how he wins. Johnny Dean says analytics dictate the percentage of success for the coaching and decisions on play call in various situations. Nate says, let's see. Laugh out loud. JP is funny. Yes, the Rams are rated the best in Pro Football Focus, but in my opinion, when you really break the defense down, we have more of a dangerous defense and more dangerous players from the front four to the linebackers. We're scary. We can hit you in more ways than Donald and Ramsey can. And of course, once again, Aaron Donald didn't play the whole game, but he played somewhat. Oh, so you mean he wasn't 100%? So you mean the effectiveness of that defensive line wasn't that good because you're missing the best player in the National Football League. Save me with that BS nonsense. So here he's making decisions based on stats. Got it. Well, he's a professional handicapper, sir. And that's the reason why he's at, what, 88, 84%.
Hold on. Seriously, time out.
Yes.
I'm not a stat guy. How many times do I got to tell you? Even Rick Hughes will tell you I am not a stat guy.
I tell you what, I'm tired of talking about Rick Hughes. We got to get Rick Hughes in here to join this.
88%, Harry. You like that statistic, don't you?
No.
Yeah, you like that if you're 2.5 points favored and your 88% chance you're going to win. You like that stat?
Well, that's the only stat I think I'm going to like. But
Oh,
I am
the only stat. Okay.
all right. Now everybody wants to gang up on me. Great. Thank you.
I was just laughing. Just pointing that out.
bring my wife in here, Rick, all right?
So look, Brian, first of all, Waterboy, brother, you were supposed to be on my show last night. What happened? Why weren't you on my show? I don't get it. What the heck, man? Brian, you let me down. You and your things. Come on, man. You're supposed to be there. Now, this is what I find funny about people like JP. I love people like JP.
Wow, that was.
Oh no, man. Rick,
I'm sorry, Rick.
you have the Disney Channel look on your face.
That's a bad face there. That's the face that every Saints fan was making after Sunday.
Kidding, I'm not frozen.
Okay, hold on. I think he's back. All right. There. No, he's not there.
He's still frozen.
He's still frozen. He's frozen like.
I think Brian gave him some of that voodoo crap from the Cajun Bayou.
Yeah, absolutely, he did. Bad gumbo. Bruce said the day to day.
Someone says I'm basing things on stats. Yeah, okay, stats. Peter, you froze up now. Oh my Lord, I'm here all alone. What is one to do? Oh Lord, have mercy.
There we are.
Oh, there you are, Peter. Thank you.
Okay, so he's doing statistical analysis and making educated decisions based on that analysis. All right, AB is worked on by Guerrero. He'll be good to go. That would be Alex Guerrero, Tom Brady's trainer. Yeah, Steve has played really well. I think they're talking about Steve McClendon. Vita as a 0-1 tech can go play 20 snaps and get a good push. That MFer, 360 pounds. That's what makes him improve our defense. I like that. See ya, JP. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't usually hang up on people, but the guy was just obnoxious.
I kind of liked him, though, Peter. You should have let him in the play a little longer.
You know what?
Water's warm here.
I'll tell you what, JP, if you're still watching and you want to call back the show, I will let you call back the show. But please don't put words in my mouth, okay? Vea is just going to be in the rotation. Ness says, I'm sure Vita will be active just in the backup role. Will likely get very limited snaps. But again, those limited snaps may be very important to this team. He's still getting his legs under him. Ness says, yeah, Harry just hit it on it. He needs to get into game shape. Corey says, Harry wrong about Vita. So we'll see. Harry, it won't be much of an experiment only because Vita knows the defense. That's all. But again, it will be limited snaps. Ness says, keep everyone fresh as we try to do here. Vita is a beast. JP says, way to yell instead of using logic. Good luck, Bucs. You'll need it. I'll be back after the Packers win. Well, I hope you do. I told you you'd just come back if you want to right now. If you like to. That's if you want to. If you don't want to, then...
cheese, bro. Leave him alone.
Yeah, that's it. That's what happens when you eat lots of cheese.
People in Green Bay only wish they had good pizza and good hot dogs like they do in Chicago. But you know what? They got brandy and cheese.
Well, he gets clogged up. That's what it comes.
And analytics, Peter. Let's not forget it.
Analytics. The analytics. I sure hope you are, JP. I think we got Rick Hughes back here. We'll read the rest of these comments, and then we'll get him back on here. He froze there for a minute. That was kind of scary there, Rick. The agility and speed Vita has is insane. Ness 33rd. Hopefully it's a good game. I like Ness. I like Eric too. Half kidding, but I don't know if we even need Vita to move at all. I think him just taking up the space, he does make us better. Christopher Cole says. Vey is a big cog that Green Bay has not seen. Bucs time 12. Vita and AB both play this weekend. Ness 33rd. Agility and speed is something you can't expect from Vita right away. He needs to get up to game speed. Ness again. Laugh out loud. You just made my point, by the way. LeBron is a better basketball player, but he's not the better winner. He's a better basketball player. Okay. He chokes in crunch time. Jordan Brady have the intangibles. Rick says, I'm about to have some fun talking JP. We'll get you back on there. Please, JP, please come on the show. Sean McKibben says, watch it, Harry.
Sean McKibben, I looked at his profile, some of his pictures. He's as big as Vita Vea. Trust me, Sean. Just kidding, bro. Love you, man.
Vita was second on the team in pressures when he went down. The drop off to Nacho is huge. So hopefully Vita is able to contribute straight off the injury. Who knows? Johnny Dean says, too late. Rick Hughes is going to honor JP in his own very special way. Laugh out loud. Oh, that's good. Eric Scott, name one executive in the league who hits on 100% of their picks and pickups. Thank you very much. Not any of them. Not even the greats. JP, hang in there for a minute or two. Rick says, I got words for you. David says, do y'all remember the time when Vita Vea came back to the NFC Championship and the Buccaneers went to the Super Bowl? Goodness gracious. You know what, David? That was genius because I know where you're quoting that from. Wait, did someone say boobs? Yes, there's a lot of boobs here tonight, but they're not the boobs you think they are. Left my ass off Waterboy. Hard Count Football Podcast. Here with the camera quality. Absolutely. Hey, Brian, Waterboy, where the hell were you on my show? Johnny Dean says Pete has a peg leg now. I know it's been a while, but damn, did anyone catch that, Gator? Long John Silver and peg leg Pete are first ballot Hall of Famers. What you talking about, Willis? I'll give it to you right there. JP's mama says that foosball is the devil pastime. I think that's what you were saying. I want to join the show on StreamYard. We're just taking calls tonight. Way to deliver, Rick Hughes. Let's see. It's Harry's show now. Not necessarily there, Jacob. The bottom line is this Sunday, to be the team you got, to be the man you have to be, or he's saying the bottom line this Sunday is to be the team you got to beat the team. Now let me get a woo. Absolutely. We'll give it up. There we go. All right. I like that sound effect too. Beat will play and dominate. Mark my words. Brian says, why are you Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans? Okay, let me see if I can see this. Read this now.
Bring Rick in. He speaks Cajun.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me have Rick read this. Rick Hughes, go ahead and try to dissect.
Okay. He said, why are you a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan and you are from Chicago, but you're not a Chicago Bears fan? If you don't mind, can you tell us why, please? Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm just asking. So that's what he was saying. Okay. That's it. That's all. I mean, it's not that hard. It's just you basically forget this tooth and you're good. Okay, that's how you do it. All right. If you just forget this tooth, it comes right out and flows naturally. So I got to get back on JP here.
Oh, I got to get back on JP. My question, but
I got a problem with JP. Hold on. No, I got a problem with JP. No, this is what I find funny about JP. People like JP crack me up, and I made fun of them on my show previously. It's like the guy who says they come on and they, no matter what, they speak passively, condescendingly with this. Well, I've dissected the film, so you need to trust me. Okay, like their opinion is better than everyone else's because I've dissected the film. Okay, so have all the other experts who have a different freaking opinion than you. Okay, but you're the expert because you've dissected the film. Okay, and JP, it was classic. I'm dying laughing because he goes, PFF, I've got a subscription. That makes me an expert. Well, it makes anybody with an effing credit card an expert. Okay? So come on, dude. You're an expert because you have a subscription to PFF? The experts are the ones on PFF, you dumbass.
I think you actually work.
Good Lord. It amazes me, these freaking idiots who sit at home popping pimples on their ass and their mom but playing video games who end up sitting there acting like they know what the hell they're talking about. He's an expert because he talks like this when he talks to you, Peter, and he just keeps a nice, calm voice, which makes him more intelligent than you.
You passed the Grey Poupon.
Freaking idiots. It's hilarious, man.
I believe someone had a question for me. Would you care to answer that for me, Rick?
What's the question?
Why are you a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan? You were from Chicago, but you're a Chicago Bear fan.
I can't answer it for you because I can't speak Greek, but I can only tell you, look, man, the guy was from Chicago. Okay, look, man, let him be. I'm from Tampa. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, so I'm a Bucs fan. What the heck is your problem? Wait, here's my question, Brian. Brian, where do you live? Where do you live, Brian? Type it in the box. Where do you effing live? I bet you it's not New Orleans. And I bet you're still sitting there saying, hey, why are you a Tampa fan if you're from Chicago? And I bet you this idiot isn't even from New Orleans. He's not even living in New Orleans right now. Okay? Come on, dude. What? The devil made you type that? Come on. Freaking idiots.
Rick, he's a piney from South Jersey.
He's from Jersey? Brian is from Jersey?
Wasn't that from South Jersey?
No, you mean he's from South Jersey. It's South. It's Thou2H, man. Say it right. He's from South Jersey.
Anyway,
Okay?
I am a huge Bear fan, Brian, in case you really wanted to know. I'm a Cancer. I'm born in 66. I'm 6'1", about 197. Married, unfortunately for you.
Lord.
But anyway, I'm a huge Chicago Bear fan.
Boy,
what's that?
Does he like long walks on the beach, by the way? I mean, what are you doing?
I don't know. I mean, oh my God. Okay, here we go. Hold on. I need to New Orleans. Wait, I need to New Orleans for years with my father. My father passed away, but I moved back to New Jersey. Okay, so good for you, Brian. Okay, I'm guessing you're saying you lived in New Orleans for years, moved to New Orleans for years. I don't know what that word's supposed to be.
Rick.
But hold on. Let me finish.
See, I was right. The New Jersey thing.
Was he born on a bayou?
Wait, my question for Brian is, why is it that it's okay for him to be a fan in New Jersey of New Orleans, but he's questioning Harry and wants to know why Harry is a fan of Tampa when he's from Chicago? Dude, Brian, relax, brother. People are fans of whoever the hell they want to be fans of.
Do you know who needs to be really upset and scared in here?
What?
Who?
Jacob Charnell, because you know who his other favorite team is?
What? Hold on. Yes, Seattle.
No, the Jets.
The Jets.
No, the Jets and Seattle.
No, that's Jacob.
Brian. No, that's what I'm talking about. Jacob Charnell, Jets and Seattle.
I understand. I says Jacob needs to be a little concerned because Brian's other favorite team was the New York Jets, and he said that on your show.
New York Jets.
He's coming
Jets. JETS. Jets.
All right, we.
All right,
come on, man.
Tonight was fun.
Yes.
Oh my God, grow a pair or at least a tooth.
Murray said,
"Come on." There's a point. There's a point. Come on. I mean, I get it with JP. JP at least has a subscription to PFF. You know what? This cracks me up because there's a time back when I was a photographer, and there was this model, this beautiful model. She was so, she wanted to get to be more and more of a model. And a buddy of mine who's a photographer just as a hobby. Now I'm the professional who's been doing it for years, worked with all these major magazines. So she's standing there with us, and she's all excited to meet me. And she's thinking, oh, wow, this is great. Maybe this is an opportunity for me. And you could just see she was like flirting with me and stuff, which I could see through. And I'm like, oh God, like you're interested in me, right? No, she was interested in trying to get somewhere. So my buddy, who's just a hobby photographer, he goes, hey, baby, are you familiar with Playboy? And she's like, yeah. And he goes, yeah, I subscribe to it. And that's this guy. That is this guy with you. Yeah. You want to know what an expert I am? Are you familiar with PFF? Yeah, I subscribe to it. I mean, that's the extent that this guy's got to prove his knowledge. He talks calmly. I subscribe.
Hold on. We got somebody calling. Welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with Harry the Greek, my professional handicapper, Rick Hughes from the Cheap Seats. What's cooking in the South? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, it's Dominic, and I'm calling from Manassas, Virginia. How you doing?
What's going on, Dominic? How you doing? How old are you, Dominic?
That was a question.
Dominic. How old are you? I'm not going to hang up on you if you say you're young, because you sound young, bud.
Called it.
This is awesome.
This is great. This
Did you have a question?
Gold. Do you have a question, Dominic?
Yeah. Hey, Rick, what do you think about this Bucs Packers NFC title game heading into the title game? What do you think of it?
What do I think of it? I think the bottom line is maybe it's Mark Dominic. Look, here's the thing. I think that when it comes to this game, it's going to be a battle. You've got two great teams with two great quarterbacks, two of the best quarterbacks in the league for sure, two historic type of quarterbacks. It's going to be a good game. Do I think it's a lock for either team? No. But I don't subscribe to PFF, so But I do believe I think that both teams have plenty to be proud of. Both teams have a lot of firepower. Both teams have a lot of skill. This is exactly what you should get in the NFC Championship game. The best of the best battling it out. So it's kind of fun that way.
Yeah, I agree with you. Sorry, go ahead.
No, how old are you again?
Well, you literally said I was young, and I called it.
What?
Well, for a young guy, you asked a really good question.
Yeah, no, it's not a bad thing if you're young. How young are you?
I'm gonna be turning 13 in 2 weeks or a week.
You're going to be turning 13? That's awesome, Dominic.
Awesome. Let me go ahead and fire those cannons, Dominic. Buddy, I'm never going to hold it against you if you call my show and you're 13 years old, my friend. That's awesome. That's when I started watching sports when I was 8 years old. So good for you, man. Anything else?
No, that's pretty much it. You guys have a good night, and let's go get that dub in the NFC title game.
Dominic.
I like that game. I like that.
So do I. Now that's awesome. See, JP, that's how you do it.
Yeah, the guy's 13 years old and he's calling my sports talk show. I'm honored. Call back anytime you want, bud.
Way to go, Dominic.
And I bet you he knows analytics, baby.
He does know. He knew the word
analytics.
He said dub. He didn't say dub.
JP put the anal in analytics.
Oh, geez. Okay. Captain B1 shows no mercy. I said, why are you a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan when you lived in Chicago?
That's the one I read.
Okay. Tim.
I'm sorry. That's the one I read.
Okay. Hey, watch it. The Pearson family invented the toothbrush. If it was any other family, it would be called the teeth brush. Corey Hall is laughing. Mama said, when someone say, trust me, you got to grab your wallet and run. Johnny Dean says, Brian is a Jersey Cajun.
Those are called Pineys. Johnny knows that.
Pearson said he lives in South Jersey. Brian, again, I need to New Orleans for years with my family. My father passed away, but I moved back to New Jersey. I'm sorry about your father. I am sorry about your father. My father passed away a couple years ago. Yeah, he's Jacob's neighbor. Remember, Johnny Dean, Brian from the Barons, Bucs time 12, killing me. He killed me already. Rick Hughes, Dominic's back. He called him before Rick hung up on him last time. Didn't even give him a chance. Now, Dominic, it sounds like a young kid who knows sports.
Listen, Dominic, if I hung up on you, I apologize. We got to get the one thing here. Work on this. Be a little quicker with your delivery because what you're saying is awesome. You just got to be more confident because you're a smart kid. So don't doubt yourself.
Look, I remember when it was the thing to call a radio show and you were nervous and you were getting everybody. That way you were so nervous. So I get that. So take your time. It's okay on my show. Take your time. If you want to say something, I just think always when I hear his voice, I'm like, is he like trying to act like he's a 13-year-old?
That's what I probably thought at the time was that there was something going on. And I was like, nope, sorry.
No, honestly, Dominic, go and friend me too on Facebook, Peter H. Blake.
Awesome, Dominic.
Absolutely. All right. You called him before. Rick hung up on him last time. Didn't even give him a chance. Christopher Cole. Peter is doing everything to not lose it. Laugh out loud. Let's go back out to the phone lines. Welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, Harry the Greek, my professional handicapper, Mr. Rick Hughes from the Cheap Seats. What's cooking in the South? What's your name? Where you calling from? Turn down your phone or turn down your TV. Okay. Well, that was great. That was
good talk.
That's it.
Good talk, man. I really got that.
Okay. Dom's a beast. Johnny Dean says Brian from the Barons, JP from the Tundra, and Dominic from the Cradle. Well, very nice. Long walks on the beach and having his toenails clipped by his co-host. So that's always awesome. And Nest 33rd. I don't know who Nest 33rd is, but he's been bringing it tonight. Yep. In the previous show, Rick sat around waiting for Dominic to speak, gave him a good 10 seconds, and then blew up the call. Well, I understand it. Look, dead air is when you're dead. We can't have dead air on the show. So, Rick, your thoughts, because we're going to wrap up the show. It's getting late, guys. So give me some thoughts here on what we talked about tonight in case you were watching this crazy-ass show.
Here's the thing. This is going to be a great game. This is a great week. We can have a whole lot of fun this week. Everybody embrace the fun. Have fun. If you're If you're a Packers fan with a PFF subscription and want to call in, knock yourself out, that's awesome. You're a pro. I want you to know how much we respect you in that subscription. And I want everybody who's out there to understand clearly. We love to have a good time on Bucs Report. And this is a fact, and I will stop joking for just a second here. I will say this. If you are a fan of another team, we love having you a part of this show. Come in, have some intelligent conversation or some fun. Either way, bring it, and we're ready to have a good time with you. And thanks for coming on. And seriously, you guys, just if I can get you guys, if I can get JP, I dare you, come on my show. I will give you the platform for 30 seconds. You can have full screen. Brian, you let me down, brother. You let me down. And that's pretty sad.
Well, Rick, I just would really like to talk to you for a minute. This is Harry with the Quiet Storm this evening.
Storm with your jazz hits here.
My brother. I'm more intelligent by doing this.
Yeah.
But,
I'm writer because I'm quieter. There's two guys. There's two types of guys in this world. The guys who are writer because they're quieter, and the guys who are louder so they think that makes them more right.
Right.
You get both of you get both ways, and each of them think I've just proven my point because I was louder or quieter than you.
Right. And some people may think that's me.
You got to fulfill me and give me an opa.
Opa.
There you go.
All right. Let's read this comment. Older guys have to go to bed early. We've been doing about a 3-hour sports talk show with no commercials. And yes, I have to go to bed early because I have to go to work.
Well, and Brian, what's Brian going to do tomorrow? He's going to sleep in. He's going to wake up. He's going to have some Pop-Tarts in his mom's basement, pop a few pimples. The guy's got nothing much to do tomorrow. So, it's not like the guy, he can't stay. He can stay up as late as he wants. He's probably watching those scrambled channels. Those scrambled channels on TV? That's what he's trying to tune in. I get it. I know what you're doing, bud.
He's Cinemax.
I speak for Rick Hughes and Peter Blake and all the Bucs Report. Full disclosure, we do like you, Brian. Please come back.
We do. We love you. Even JP. You can call
Absolutely.
All right, Rick Hughes. Let me get you out of here. Thanks a lot for your time.
Have a great night, my friend.
All right, Harry the Greek. Final thoughts, bud.
Final thoughts. I can't wait for this weekend. Can't wait to get back on the show on Friday night. You will get the definite prediction of the 2 games. We haven't even talked about the AFC game. Very interesting stuff. But please stay tuned because I am going to come at it with an honest opinion and which way you should be able to lay your money. It all depends on which way the line's going to go.
There you go. And what do you always say about bets?
Bets? Keep your wagers low and your returns even higher.
All right, there you go. Good stuff. Harry the Greek, my professional handicapper, Mr. 88%, 89%, going up to 90% as we speak. Thanks a lot for your time. We'll see you on Friday night, all right?
You're welcome. Have a really good night. Deuces to everybody out there. Let's play some football this weekend.
All right, man. Sounds good. There you go. We'll get him out of here. Let's go ahead and go out to Ness. You guys are awesome. Very contentious. I catch a lot of your shows, but I'm an older guy as well, putting kids to bed and doing chores while listening. Glad I was able to participate this time. I think he's saying yeah. Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate that, Ness. Thanks a lot for the compliment. This is New England Patriots. What are 10 million back? Tom Brady. They do have the Hall of Fame coach, and they let us down in New England. I'm not a New England fan. The 10 million we were going to. And have a good night, guys. Absolutely. My voice is almost gone here, so I'm definitely going to end this for the night. But thanks a lot to all the guests. Of course, former Buccaneer great, Mr. Ricky Reynolds, Corey Ivy, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, UCF DB coach, of course, Harry the Greek, and Rick Hughes. And of all your phone calls and all you web heads out there, even Brian Pearson, I love you, man. JP, call back. I'm sorry I hung up on you, but hey, you have to be indoctrinated into the sports web, and that's what we did to you tonight. So thanks a lot, man. Appreciate the calls. As always, the comments. We'll be back on Friday night, most likely with, again, talking more about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, getting you ready for the NFC Championship game. Bucs versus the Packers. Make sure you join us on Sunday at 12:30 for your pre-show, live from the Deck Bar and Grill. Bucs versus the Packers NFC Championship game. So I'm going to get out of here on this. See if I can get my voice back. Here we go. You ready? Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blank. Have a good night. Will you shut up and be quiet?
What a story this will be. 5:52 left in the fourth. 38-3.
Why was everyone able to be so productive tonight?
2nd and 9 now. This one's picked. Intercepted by the Bucs. It's Murphy bunting down the sideline. He is going to be marked. From the 3, Brady throws, pass caught, Evans touchdown. Tampa Bay on top as he works against Marshawn Lattimore.
Bodies him up. I mean, you're talking about Mike Evans, the size that he has at 6'5". He's able to get inside, use his body like you would in basketball. Brady just tries to stick it on him and let him shield Lattimore off of him.
Eat him! Eat him! Eat him! 3rd down and 2. Quick throw, Cook makes the catch, 1st down, ball's out, and into the arms of Devin White. It's a takeaway by this defense. Good protection again, pass caught, touchdown Fournette. Second down and 8. Brady off the bench with a big game today. 3rd down and 7. Brady with play action. Makes it 3rd and 11 now. A rare Scotty Miller sighting. And that's who Brady.
The facility. What are you guys being fed up there to be able to shut down the GOAT Tom Brady like that twice?
Well, you say GOAT, like one of the GOATs. He's probably number 2 on the list behind, the quarterback who has 80,000 yards, 80,000 passing yards. But I mean, there's probably another quarterback like there.
Makes it 3rd and 11 now. The throw is what a catch! A rare Scotty Miller sighting. And that's who Brady goes to, and he's got him. Michael Thomas, you see the total yards in the game, 2nd and 8. Brees throws, and he's picked by Devin White. Another turnover, and White picks his way down the sideline. Brady's going to take it. Touchdown.
Get somebody down the middle or up the sideline.
Brees able to step into this one. This one's up for grabs and picked